It's a new year, and that means new opportunities to make connections. But when it comes to dating, it can be tough to put yourself out there and know where to start. And that's why we are excited to talk about Hinge, the dating app designed to be deleted. It's not the time to rack up validation points. It's about meeting people, making connections, and trying to get off the apps. And Hinge is helping people do that better than ever in 2024. Hinge is the perfect dating app to use in the new year because it really allows you to go beyond the surface, express your personality, and meet people who are on the same page as you.
And at the beginning of the year is the best time to refresh your profile on Hinge, whether that's updating your photos or your dating goals, and maybe just change up the prompts. I feel like that's the most fun part about Hinge is seeing what people have to say or maybe what they're looking forward to or something they want to learn this year. That way you can start a really fun conversation.
Manifest the dating experience you want this year. Download Hinge and find someone worth deleting the app for. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a new and exciting episode of the Viall Files Going Deeper edition. I'm your host, Nick, joined by the household. We got my love, Natalie Joy. How are you?
Period. I'm stunning.
Justin's in the house. We got Allie coming from St. Paul, Minnesota.
And Kiki.
And Kiki. Oh, Kiki. How's Kiki? And then we have the rest of the troops cranking away. Elves, the minions, the elves. What should we call? What should we call like the household?
That's not
maybe not minions.
In
yeah,
studio.
minions seems a bit.
Elves seems
that's not good.
a bit like out of season.
There's no bad idea in brainstorming. I'm just like that's why we're thinking about this. You know, we could circle back. You know.
Well, anytime I talk to Derek about it, I'm like, oh, I just texted the kiddos. I was like, I sent this over to the kiddos.
Yeah, that's a little condescending too. I don't know if it's any better than the elves.
I thought it was cute.
You mean the minions?
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll work on it.
If anyone has any suggestions,
yeah, sure, yeah.
It's like the
fire away.
It's like the beehive for Beyonce.
Yes. We don't want to steal anything from Beyonce. So, but
the beehive.
Like the beehive.
I'm not saying, yeah.
Well, we got some really exciting news. We got the one and only Katie, Maloney, and Dayna Kathan with us to, first talk about obviously the upcoming season of Vanderpump.
Obviously.
Tell some of their, fun and interesting stories. And honestly, the reason they really are here is to announce and promote their new show, their new podcast, Disrespectfully, that is premiering under our network. That's right, NV Media. It's the first of its kind. Viall Files, obviously, being the flagship, but it's something that, as a show, I've been wanting to do for a long time. And honestly, I wanted to do it right. I wanted to take my time. We like, doing things, I guess, right here. We're not, we
don't like doing things wrong.
We don't like doing things wrong, but we've made our mistakes in the past, sure. But it was a long time coming with Dayna and Katie, and I couldn't be more excited to have them be a part of our team here at NV Media in the Viall Files household. I mean, they really are a part of the household,
Or the beehive. Or like the beehive.
Yeah. So it's so exciting. I can't wait to you guys to hear this episode. New episodes, their show will be premiering on January 10th on Wednesday. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you'll be able to watch it on YouTube, just like you consume our show, you'll be able to consume theirs. And I hope you check it out. But it's gonna be great. I mean, you know what? We'll let you listen to the episode. We have so much other stuff to get into. I cannot wait for the week ahead next week. Again,
crazy
reminder that we have a special Going Deeper episode dropping on Monday.
I don't think anyone's prepared.
I don't think anyone's prepared.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's prepared. I mean, we've never moved and asked Nick just for
anyone.
But we're doing it for these people.
Oh.
Little tease.
Okay.
We're so excited. And honestly, we're not when we kick off next week, that's us just getting started.
Yeah, it just continues.
Oh my God.
It continues to just go and go. There's no drop off. It's just oh my God.
It's anyways, pay attention sometime on Friday we will share, sometime tomorrow we will share this exciting news with you. Hopefully it all works out.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Anyways, it's going to be grand. I'm excited we have so many exciting things here at the Viall Files to be sharing with you. We had our best year ever last year, and this year is going to be even better. It's going to be incredible. It's next week will also be our 5-year anniversary at the Viall Files.
Wow, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And last year, of the total downloads we've ever had as a show, we did 60% of our downloads all last year.
Oh, shoot.
Huh?
Does that make sense?
Out of like the 5 years that it's existed.
Of the 5 years of its existence. And we're going, well, am I going to my 5th year? This is our 5th year anniversary. So we've had 4 years?
I feel like
we've had 5 years. Started in 19. So 19, 20, 21.
4 years.
22, 23. We've had 5 years. All of 23. All of 19. All of 20. all of 21. All of 22. And all of 23.
This is
I didn't study math.
So we're going into our 6th year. We're podcasters, not math people.
Keep your day job.
So in our 5th year of existence, we had 60% of our total downloads in the history of the show.
That's a lot.
no, in your 4th year.
No, Allie, we're going into our 6th year.
I graduated high school in 2019. And I just graduated college. So that means it's almost exactly, it's right over
5
4
years.
years.
You were in college for 4 years.
We started 2000.
But I
we started
graduated in
January of 2019.
Yeah, we're not going into our 6th year.
We're going into our 5th year.
No. So we premiered the Viall Files in January of 19. So we recorded all of January 19. That's 1 year.
We're going into our 5th year.
We recorded all of January 2020. That's 2 years. We recorded all of 2021. That's 3 years. We recorded all of 22. That's 4 years. We recorded all of 23. That's 5 years. It's now 2024. So we're starting our 6th year.
I think you added a number.
How?
Because it's like it's 2019 into 2020, 2020 into 2021, 21 into 22, 22 into 23, 23 into 24. So that's 5 years. So we're entering our 5th year.
No. Allie, you're the smartest person in this room.
I'm not even in the room.
Yes, you are.
But if we recorded all of January 19, if all right, we started in January of 19. All right? And if I would have ended the show in that December, we would have recorded for a year. And then so we recorded all of year 2020. That was our 2nd year of existence. And then we didn't shut it down. We kept going. And in 2021, we recorded a whole nother year of episodes. And then in 2022,
I think your point is by this time next year, we'll be coming up on 6.
Yeah, we're going into our 6th year.
I think you're right.
Oh,
I rest my case.
saying.
I rest my case.
Anyway, yeah. So in our
we should just have Derek like really just speed all that up.
In our 5th year of existence, we did 60% of our total downloads.
This has been the best year ever.
And in 2022, we were also named one of the fastest growing podcasts in 2022. And yet 2023 is even a bigger year. So this is all to say, thank you everyone for supporting our show. And it's been fun to continue to grow. We're only getting bigger and better than ever before. We're going to break major records this year. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have the best month this month, and it's only going to get better. And I'm so excited to be sharing with you. And we're so excited to having Katie and Dayna join our team. It's going to be incredible. And I'm glad you stuck with us during that whole like math session that we
They didn't.
had. Yeah, you're still here, by the way.
We're talking. It's crickets.
Like, what the fuck are these people doing?
Okay. So, did anyone watch Salt Lake City
Oh
this
my
week?
God.
Incredible.
I watched it twice.
Allie, did you watch it?
I have
It's
never
okay.
seen an episode of The Housewives.
All right. Oh,
This is the episode you need to
Okay.
watch.
This is.
Here you go.
Did you make this?
Justin did.
Me and Allison.
Of
Oh
course.
my God. What was this, by the way? What was? I
So
don't.
earlier in the season, they did like a pilgrim episode, and each
Ah.
housewife made like a doll of themselves, which is like a Utah Mormon
Is this supposed to be me or you?
you
Obviously, look
because
at-
like the
look at the-
orange and the black hair
and the beard that I don't have?
and the okay, yeah, the spinning image. Honestly, I'm sorry I didn't.
Yeah.
Mister, take the initiative. You like-
So now, with you having that, you have to. What is the question? The unsolved mystery.
We have to know an unsolved mystery about you.
Yeah.
An unsolved
Because
mystery
We're at the
about
Bermuda
me.
Triangle.
That's tough because I'm here all the time and
It's just such
Opening
an
up my
open
heart.
book.
Okay, Monica.
What's an unsolved secret about you?
He asked me this question at the dinner, and I don't.
We have to get to know Justin more.
I still don't know the answer to that.
I've been here for how many episodes? 688.
88.
Thank you, Allie.
Wait, that's not fair. You're flipping it on me. That's your doll.
What's an unsolved mystery about me? Or
what's something you've never said publicly?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm ready now.
Well, you have the doll. So you don't really have a choice.
If I haven't said it yet, chances are. Anyways, last night.
He is going to love Jeff more than our daughter.
That's not true.
Okay.
No.
What were you going to
All
say
of them
last
all the
night?
same.
What happened last night?
The Housewives episode.
Oh.
True.
It was a lot of takes. Like some would argue that Monica had the single most impactful single season in reality TV history, and certainly
agree.
Housewives history. Hard to argue against that.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Did
She
you
really
see
did.
this coming?
No.
Because we were kind of all wrong. We thought this had everything to do with like Heather and her salon.
Who was it when Rachel Lindsay was on?
Yeah.
And we were like, I feel like something came up about like reality Von Teese, but we were all just kind of like, okay, whatever.
I didn't even know what who or what reality Von Teese
Does the account
was.
still exist? Because I tried to look it up. And
I don't think it does, but I will say Monica was posting pictures of her with like burned newspaper, like
saw.
New York Times, and it was like reality Von Teese, and it was pictures of her.
I saw that.
So she's like mocking it. I don't think it exists, but I will say, like, as someone who watched every episode of that whole show, her being revealed as reality Von Teese was like the ball drop.
Oh,
Because they've mentioned this account throughout like every season. And like every housewife at some point has accused the other housewife of being a part of it. So that's why like when Heather brought them to the beach and she was like, she's reality Von Teese, they were shook.
Right.
Because they've all like accused each other and attacked each other.
why had they been accusing each other of this?
Because Monica, granted, we don't know her extent of how involved she was with the account, but the secrets that were posted on the account were like personal secrets that only the girls knew. So that's why like Heather.
Yeah, but
it's
like
like-
everyone talks and everyone tells someone.
True, and Salt Lake City is small.
Salt Lake City is small, and like someone could have told someone who told someone. I mean, like, I feel like this episode, I honestly hope it's a potential referendum on anonymous fan accounts.
I think for this show specifically, because even the prior season, like this last season, there was another housewife, or she was a friend of the show, Angie H. So not Angie K, but Angie H. She left the show because she was getting bullied for having a fake account. So she got caught, and then people were accusing her of potentially being a part of this new account as well.
Wow.
So she was guilty.
She was guilty of one of the accounts.
That was
Interesting.
talking shit about them.
That
Do you
was
think
talking-
there's anyone in Bachelor Nation who's running one of these like fan accounts?
Well, now it makes
that,
you
like, show
wonder,
people?
right?
I mean, it wouldn't be that hard.
It's so easy to
to
set one
believe.
up.
Yeah. But like, I mean, these are online bullies, like all of them. And that's the thing. If you're gonna be an anonymous account, you're a bully. Whether you intend to be a bully or not, you're a bully. At least have the guts to put your name behind what you say and what you put out, so that if people disagree with what you have to say, they can at least hold you accountable. But the fact that people can have the ability to hide behind the anonymity and spill dirty little secrets that may or may not be true about other people, and then hold these people emotionally hostage, even if it's true. Like, what gives people the right to tell other people's secrets, right? And it's also not always true. And then these people lose sight of there's no one holding them accountable. They get rewarded by the clicks and the attention that their accounts draw. And they get fans just like everyone else, and they lose sight of like reason, and they start spewing their own beliefs and own opinions, of which again everyone as a fan is entitled to do. But when you have this anonymity, you put yourself at risk of just being a bully, because you can't be held account. You can do and say whatever you want about whoever, and be this kind of righteous voice without anyone being able to hold you to account. And yeah, I had so much empathy for these ladies while watching this, because I know what it's like to be a target of some of these, fan accounts that are anonymous in nature, who have built up a small little following, who decide to, share, like I have no problem with people saying, I said this about the people who go on these shows. Like, as I have chosen to be in the public light, that is a choice I have made. I am on a show. I give my very honest opinion about my peers sometimes that people agree and disagree with. And when they disagree with me, I have no problem with people making commentary and comments and saying whatever the hell, right? But like when it's behind anonymity, and you can say or do whatever you want, and you can make up stuff and rumors and spread lies, that is a whole different side of things. It's a whole different situation. And it is very triggering. I like for these women to like have been attacked by these people. And clearly with Monica, like I honestly think like a lot of these accounts I'm referring to, I do think they're well-intentioned for the most part. I don't even think they are trying and realize how they can be bullies at times. But they kind of make up their own rules of what they think they should post or what they shouldn't post, et cetera, et cetera. But like Monica, man, it sounds like this account was out for blood. And
I mean, it was created to take Jen Shah down.
Yeah.
So like before Jen went to prison, she was leaking like private recordings of Jen talking, which were then used, could have been evidence in court.
It was like her abusing her staff or something, right?
Yeah.
It was like her saying
Well,
terrible things to them.
Monica was a witness like against Jen Shah. But Jen technically never went to like a physical trial, so she never had to like speak.
Monica is a morally bankrupted person.
But she's good TV.
She's great TV.
Do we think she was planted by producers? Do we think they knew that she was reality Von Teese and they said this will be an insane season? Because who else? She was Jen Shah's like assistant, right? She's poor. She doesn't have money. She's not like your typical housewife.
Yeah. I thought that was a big red flag before we got to the big reveal of like Monica being like, if these women knew like I couldn't afford X, Y, or Z. And to me, that was such a big red flag. She just comes across as someone who is trying to be something she's not. And she is justifying all her lies because like, oh, I can't afford, like it's such a fraud. And at first it probably, maybe it was innocent, just trying to fit in. But for the sake of fitting in, she has clearly been lying through her teeth for a long time, and she doesn't know where the lies stop and the truth begins.
I don't think they knew about the troll account, but I think they knew that because she was a witness in Jen Shah's case, they were like, that's probably what they wanted to capitalize on. And then this came up and they were like, OT, that's the drama.
Really?
Yeah. Because that only happened in the very last episode. So I think if they knew that this drama was going to come out, they would have planned it so that they could talk about it more throughout the season, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't think they would have put it at the end to get everyone excited for season 5?
Are you talking about producers?
Yeah. Like, I feel like they would have used this a little bit earlier on.
But it's like Monica made the season. It's like we didn't need it. Like she,
True.
She was so dramatic enough. She started enough fights.
And it's all about timing.
Yeah.
If they would have revealed this like in episode 2, it loses steam.
Maybe.
I think what makes it so worse is that she sat with these women. She did, she spent, like Meredith said, 3 months, obviously, like filming this season, and like listen to them vent and like be there for them, and to then find out like could potentially use everything that they have said to her and confided in her, and it be posted.
It's so icky. Like when you let someone into your personal space and they violate that by like thinking they're there to be a friend or, or just listen to you or whatever it is, and they take that information and they go and share it, behind your back, like it's such a violation. Even if it's well-intentioned. When you think that like, and it's not about like keeping like dirty little secrets. It's just about like, you let someone into your home, your personal space, and maybe, you want to be your truest self around them, and you just want to maybe act in a way that like, you just don't want everyone to give commentary on. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
But for someone to come in there and pretend to be a friend when all they're really doing is documenting, what you say or what you do, and then sharing that for clout or clicks or gossip, it is such an icky feeling. And I got no patience for all the people out there who are trying to defend Monica over the fact that like, because of what Jen Shah did, They're completely separate things. You can criticize Jen Shah and hold her accountable and still think Monica is a shitty fucking person. But this idea that they're like, oh, well, they're just like defending Jen Shah and Monica's just trying to expose Jen Shah and blah, 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 blah. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, clearly she didn't tell these people who she was.
Yeah.
And who's the one who was laughing? Is it Angie? Also kind of.
So
Angie,
I think,
yeah.
but I think that's a big also like bombshell that she drops because she says like all of you guys have been involved in some way. She has secret, like she was posting secrets. So like they all possibly fed information.
Listen, it's not a good look.
No.
It's not great. I'll give you that. As someone who knows what it's like to deal with these types of fan accounts and bullies and things like that, I think, you know when people say like keep your friends close but your enemies closer, I think you could argue very easily the psychology behind why these women chose to like get on this account's good side and laugh on their jokes. It's like, as long as they're not going after me. And again, you could criticize, for example, Angie of like not being in solidarity with these other women and things like that. I'm not letting her off the hook, or anyone else who participated in that type of like validating criticism towards other people and things like that. But I get the psychology because I do truly believe that all of these women lived in fear of this account. Of what, like, if you wake up, what are they going to fucking say? What are they saying about me? What lies are they going to put out there? And what am I going to have to deal with? How am I going to have to address that? We live in a world where like we are living online, and the fact that all these social media accounts allow people to have these massive fucking platforms without putting out who they are and not having no accountability whatsoever is fucking nuts to me. It's absolutely nuts.
I think it's also like, I loved how, first of all, the editing of this entire episode.
Brilliant.
Allie, you need to just watch it and channel.
When
it was
smacking
so
her
insane.
hands, she was like,
it was just like the thunder and like it was crazy.
Yeah, it's great for inspo.
It is great for inspo. But the fact that like Heather called the three of them, the four of them, to meet down at the beach and to be like, listen, like we've all been through this. This is how I want it to play out. This is how I'm going to confront her. But then they all sit down at the dinner and they all play along with the game. Like Whitney gets mad at Lisa and like they all kind of like. And
then Meredith goes after Heather.
Yeah. And it's
kind of honestly ruined the drama a little bit for me.
No, I think it did good. Because you're like, oh, they're like, this is like a boring fight. And then it's actually JK. We're like planning this.
Or like, they let like Monica think like, oh.
It's not that bad.
This is, whatever. But then for Meredith, for them to be like, all right, Heather, it's your turn. She's like, I have Meredith. But honestly, I have nothing I have to ask Meredith but Monica. And it was like, shit.
I was jaw dropped. Like physically jaw dropped.
It was just, and again, as someone who has operated in the reality TV space, just the ickiness of what that would feel like. And again, like, anyone, and I saw comments of just like, oh, these people care more about like this fake account than like what Jen Shah did to the elderly people. Like, no, that's not what they're doing. They were personally affected and bullied by these women. Of course, they're going to have a visceral reaction to like realizing someone they thought was a friend was actually one of their biggest enemies.
And she's like, Heather, that is not true. And then they're like, well, then tell us what's true. And she goes, it's partially true. It's like,
yeah.
So first of all, you didn't like immediately come clean. We have and then she starts saying like she wasn't the only one involved, and the only stuff she posted about was Jen Shah, of course, because that was her only, like she would never admit to saying anything about any of the other women.
Yeah. I think she's gonna admit now. I think she's leaning in. I think she's got. Do you really think she's gonna be back next year?
I'm not gonna lie, I sent that text before watching the finale, and then I watched the finale twice back to back. So I don't think she's coming back, but I think she's she's a clean slate for the show because like she was involved indirectly with like 4 years of drama, 4 seasons.
I mean, I am really curious to see how the reunion goes.
I think she's gonna come out guns a fucking blazing.
Yeah.
She has a burn book. If you watch like the teaser for the reunion, she has a physical burn book with like pictures. So I think she's gonna try to call everybody out.
Can we believe anything she says?
I think she has nothing to lose now. So
yeah, well, it's not like Monica might be done with Housewives and certainly Salt Lake, but she's not done trying to be relevant.
No, yeah,
sure.
No. It's also like I do think she couldn't.
She'll probably be signed by iHeart.
Yeah, Truly, she'll start a podcast.
Coming soon.
Reality Von Teese. No, but she couldn't even keep up with all of her lies. Like Nick said, it's like when Meredith brought up, she went into her store with the blonde wig and stole a clutch, or I know she's tried to say it wasn't me who stole a clutch, but then fast forward to Monica being in there being like, oh, this is my first time in your store.
So that's the wild part, is that was from season 2. So she's been indirectly involved in every season of the drama because it's a fairly new show, but somehow became a housewife on this 4th season. So
it is weird how she became a housewife. Like the fact that producers, kind of to Natalie's point, it's definitely possible they knew the whole time.
Maybe.
Like, because why would they, like, why cast Monica? She doesn't have the, like, housewife's credentials, so to speak. She's like a fucking assistant. She's poor. She's not privileged. I mean, yeah, she's messy, but this isn't a show about, like, just messy people. It's about rich, out of touch, messy people.
Yeah.
And she's not. So why did they pick her?
Yeah. The clutch part was wild. That she was in the security cam footage. Because that's like from the boondocks of like history of the show.
Like her mask on, her blonde wig.
You know, it's one of those tragic stories because, maybe somewhere along the lines, Monica wasn't a morally bankrupted person. And I think, it's really easy to live a lie. It's very easy to, justify, well, I'm just trying to fit in and like, I'm not doing anything wrong. But you get you start getting away with it. And then the lies build up and the lies stack. And listen, we've all been there. We've been in situations where we got caught up in lies or whatever. Usually that's when we're younger in, early adult life. And maybe we've had to learn a couple hard lessons. But the fact that Monica is recently removed from her infidelity, how she addressed her infidelity, she only pretended to be contrite about it, and then usually again would follow it up with laughs.
Because it's not even like they used that infidelity as like a storyline.
Mm-hmm.
There was no like follow up. There was no backstory. It was just like, this is what I did, and like whatever. And so it's like, I feel like if that were her only crime, then they would have focused on it more.
So they knew.
So I feel like they knew. And
it's a very fair question.
Because the fucking, she said the hairstylist, Heather's hairstylist is the one who, Tanisha or something, was the girl who ran the entire account.
Heather's hairstylist.
And that's who Heather said, I called because I said, it all started with like the Monica, the 3 last names.
And yeah, it's a bit of a coincidence that Heather found this all out while at Bermuda filming the finale. The timing was impeccable.
Yeah.
It was good.
Now, these women are professionals, and it's not like they haven't filmed scenes or reenacted scenes and things like that. So it's definitely possible that that Heather didn't actually find out when she found out. But
there's no way she would have been able to like go on that trip, celebrate Monica's birthday, like feel bad for Monica when she couldn't see her family. Like there was just no way that she could fake all of that.
That note I thought about last night as I was going to bed, the fucking birthday, the pirate thing. Fucking Heather, like a trooper, dressed up in this ridiculous pirate costume, right? Didn't she also? And then whose idea was to do the drag party?
It was Whitney's because she's friends with.
Okay, that was Whitney. Okay, yeah. But Heather's always been a team player. But like the whole pirate thing looked ridiculous, and Heather, here she was, to your point, supporting her friend Monica. And Heather might be like, fuck this person. Like, I did all this. Yeah, maybe I don't know.
So I think she found out when she found out. Also, not Monica literally talking about when Heather pulled Monica on the beach and she was like, do you really think Meredith would do this? And she was like, I don't know if she'd make a fake account. Like, I didn't think any of you bitches would. I probably would, but I don't think they would. Like, she literally admitted to doing it. Jokingly, because she thought she'd never get caught.
Monica is one of those, like, she's a fan first. She was a poor, morally bankrupted fan who got a little bit of access becoming an assistant to Jen Shaw and leveraged that into
just kept going.
This. And honestly, like Monica, like this is like an LA playbook. You know what I'm saying? Like LA is full of social climbing friends who really don't do anything and they always seem to be friends with multiple celebrities, and they're on some sort of multiple celebrity rotation, and like they have this weird kind of micro following basically because of who their friends are. And if you pay attention, you know, these people are easy to figure out, but like that's who Monica is. She's a social climber who got good at befriending people in power and access. And she manipulated her way into getting in the same rooms with these people, building trust, and then using it against them.
I'm curious to see if Monica's mom is going to speak out about Monica.
Probably.
being
But
relevant
honestly,
piece.
like, that's just like two shitty people, you know.
Sure. But I would just, entertaining wise.
I mean, excellent TV. She is not a good person.
Yeah. There is a 3-part reunion, which is like a
3.
big thing because usually it's 2 parts, if not 1.
I mean,
But
like
it's 3.
Vanderpump was 3 parts, but yeah, you need a banger of a finale.
Yeah.
And again, timing, that's what I'm saying. If this secret was dropped in episode 2 or 3, I don't know if you really need a 3-part reunion. You have all episode to deal and address whatever. And this has been an epic season already. And now you get a 3-parter.
I almost feel like the bombshell of the black eye was supposed to be the finale. Like that was supposed to be the big secret. But then it just like kept stacking.
Why is that such a big deal, to be honest?
Because so that was last season's finale trip. That's when all the women were drunk. They were dressed up as Marilyn Monroe. They're running around Angie K's vacation house in San Diego, topless, really drunk. And then Jen and Heather are the last ones awake. And they set it up as like paranormal activity vibes. So you see like the cameras like up in the ceilings and like Heather's door's like wiggling and someone comes in, but you don't see who it is. She wakes up with a black eye. Heather goes on 2 separate shows, like 2 separate seasons. Ultimate Girls Trip was one of them. And she goes, I don't know who it was. I was drunk. I fell and like hit my face on like a cabinet, even though it's like a clear black eye.
Mm-hmm.
Even like Meredith, she like jokes around about being Heather's like lawyer. She's like, you can't speak. Like it might be something. Obviously, there's footage out there that exists of someone punching her, but we don't know who it is. Jen's in active litigation. So they're like speculating that Jen hit her, but Heather wants to protect her because she doesn't want to like increase the sentence.
Why is Heather seemingly protecting
That's the thing.
Jen Shaw?
Because she thought she was best friends or whatever. But that's why when she dropped it here, it was like, oh shoot, she admitted it.
Yeah.
You would assume that it's real because if Bravo's going to say that, then they probably have the footage to back it up.
Which, in fact, Jen Shaw is posting on Instagram from
jail?
prison, stating just that like if Bravo had, if she punched Heather, then they would have this footage, and if they had this footage, they would certainly have aired it. And the fact that they haven't aired it means it didn't exist.
I think they have it.
Then why wouldn't they use it?
Why would they let Heather say that?
It, yeah. Like that's like a legal thing, right? If she had said that.
I mean, it's assault. Yeah. Like they would have just edited her out and been like, sorry, Heather, like I know you wanted it, but like we can't.
I'm not following.
Bravo wouldn't have aired Heather
saying
that Jen Shaw punched her.
Why not?
Because then they can.
Jen would come back and sue them.
Yeah.
Jen could sue Bravo
for saying that I punched Heather.
When she didn't.
But it's
because Heather's saying that she was assaulted.
These women lie about each other all the fucking time.
But
that's
we
like
know
physical...
there's footage, and that's like that's assault. Like no one, I know it used to be a thing in Housewives where they would like actually like throw drinks and throw things and hit people, but like they really don't do that anymore.
I was gonna say producers only get involved if they're gonna have a physical altercation. So if you watch back this finale, you'll see like in the background the producers are like opening the door and they're like looking to the side like, should I stop it? Should I stop it?
When Lisa stood up.
Because they don't know if they're gonna fight. So they try to stop it if they know something physical is gonna happen. So that's why it's like, okay.
So I think if they did not have the footage, they would not have aired Heather saying that. Because Jen Shaw could be like, this is defamation. Like this, you know, like I never fucking hit her. Y'all know that. Y'all have the footage. Nothing happened that night. I did not come in that room. I'm suing y'all. But I think they have footage of it happening. Whether it's like some small camera up in a like.
So why not just air it though?
What if that's like that's part of the
probably legal
reunion.
as well. Maybe.
Why is it illegal?
Legal as in like maybe because they exploit the housewives for drama, but they also protect them.
Yeah.
Like they cut stuff out.
It's a balancing act, sure. But like why would they be protecting Jen Shaw at this point?
I don't know. I feel like it might be like assault happened on their
like a serious topic, maybe.
I don't know. But what if they do air it at the reunion?
Maybe.
Like, what if that's part of
To me, this is all like inconsequential compared to what Monica has done and the betrayal of being a backstabbing internet bully.
No, it definitely is. It was the cherry on top. It
Yeah.
was just
Yeah,
like,
like,
and
who
also,
punched who back then? Fuck, I don't know.
well,
Like,
that's the thing. This finale was like a bookend for like the end of the era of the 4 seasons because they referenced like so many different things that nobody had answers for, and now it's kind of like, oh,
What if they don't come back for season 5?
so that's what I was talking to someone, and they were like, this might be them like restarting the franchise because like there's not many storylines happening now. It's just people like closing off their like.
but these are iconic
Yeah, I agree.
women. And is Salt Lake City like just oversaturated with these out of touch personalities?
I don't know.
Could they replace all of these women?
Well, they wouldn't have to replace all of them, but you know how they like do Beverly Hills, where they kind of just like bring
Beverly
in.
Hills, sure. Like it's Beverly Hills. It's full of out of touch rich
Sure. yeah.
people.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they can.
I don't know.
I don't want Heather to be gone.
me neither. If you watch every season, Heather's like her one-liners lead the narrative of the whole show.
Yeah.
So like this season, she was narrating the whole season. If you notice,
Lisa's my least favorite.
I like her.
I don't know her, but like she's just my least favorite.
She's a rich person that only eats fast food.
You can really tell. I also think I don't even know what my listen. Like obviously, if you're in the public eye, you have some narcissism in you. Doesn't mean you're a narcissist, but like clearly, you know. What's your selfie count, babe? That's not so bad.
How do you find that?
Just go down to your folder. Go to your folders. 2,309.
5,480. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, compared to
Lisa's was like what 30,000 or something.
It was close to 30,000. Yeah.
I mean, that
What
does
is yours,
that,
Natalie?
that
5,000.
that says something about all of us. You know, it says something about you. Like, the higher it is, the more
What if Nick?
more narcissistic
What if
you
Nick's
are.
was like 48,000?
2,300.
2,000.
Mine's 138.
You are less narcissistic than us.
I'm 3,800.
Or I'm just uglier.
Justin's 3,000.
3,800. So
Yes. That's crazy.
That is fuck, man. What a wild episode.
yeah.
Well, there's probably a lot more to unpack. Obviously, we have a 3-part reunion. Maybe we'll get some of these housewives on the show. I think we will.
So too. I think Heather stopped you somewhere and said I have a lot to say.
I know, but you know, well, we haven't locked it in yet. So
I know, I'm just saying.
until she's on this couch, she is not on the show. But I feel good about getting at least one of these ladies to share their truth. Would we give Monica a chance? I think she'd just come in here and just talk bullshit.
But I think that'd be worth.
Should we go to Jen Shaw's prison and do an interview?
Yeah. Only if you bring me.
Okay.
Can I go
Okay.
to prison?
Yeah.
We
I
all
mean,
meet. Where is she? She's
where
in
is she?
prison
Is she
Utah?
in Salt Lake City? Is she in Utah?
I don't know, but she's in like one of the nice ones where it's more like,
Of course she
yeah,
is.
whatever.
Fancy.
Fancy,
Well, she
yeah.
still has Instagram, so
Apparently.
yeah. Okay. Well, it's time to get to Katie and Dayna again. So excited about the launch of Disrespectfully coming to you January 10th. Every Wednesday after that. Be sure to check it out. You will not regret it. We have some major interviews dropping this month. So excited to bring them to you. Cannot wait to share more with you. Pay attention tomorrow for some news. It's going to be grand. All right, let's get to Katie and Dayna. Drizzly, the #1 way to buy beer, wine, and spirits with delivery to your doorstep when you need it. The #1 app for alcohol delivery. Drizzly's been helping the party going since its inception. And whether it's restocking the party when it's running out because you're having too much fun, or maybe you just forgot that bottle of wine for dinner and it's, you just don't want to go back out, or maybe you want to send a thoughtful gift to someone that you forgot to get a gift for. Well, there is no better way for a last-minute gift than with Drizzly. Send them a nice bottle of their favorite wine, liquor, or beer, and you will be the all-star in their life. With Drizzly, you can compare prices across local stores to get the best prices on huge selections of drinks perfect for dry January. The #1 way to buy beer, wine, and spirits with delivery to your doorstep when you need it. So download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com. Must be 21 years or older, not available in all locations. It's a new year and a new reason to maybe change that diet, maybe find healthier meals and healthier snacks. And I get it. You don't have time to grocery shop, certainly even planning for like healthier dinners. I mean, it's so hard to eat right, especially when you're busy and on the go. With Hungry Root, you can kickstart a week of healthy eating and get groceries delivered right to your door. Whatever your diets are, Hungry Root supports them all. So, if you are vegan,
keto, gluten-free,
vegetarian, big meat eater, doesn't matter. Hungry Root has you covered, and they have you covered with healthy, nutritious ingredients. So whether you need to save time, save money, or just find a way to help plan tasty, delicious meals with a great variety, let Hungry Root save the day. Right now, Hungry Root is offering the Viall Files listeners 40% off your first delivery with free veggies for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/VIALL to get 40% off your first delivery and get your free veggies. That's hungryroot.com/VIALL. Don't forget to use our link so they know we sent you. Katie, Dayna, welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
We're so excited.
We're so excited to be here.
Very excited.
Cat's out of the bag because now everyone knows that Katie and Dayna are launching their hit show, Disrespectfully, on the NV Media Network. Period. Slay. Congratulations to everyone in this room. We're so excited. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it, ladies?
It's been a very long time coming.
I think the first time that her and I spoke about doing a joint podcast was January, February of last year. So before we even got connected. So long time.
Love that. And then we have all become friends this past year. I think Katie first came out. We met Katie with Ariana in Vegas.
Yes.
Oh, yes, we did.
And I actually stayed at the same hotel for my bachelor party. And I really thought of...
Were you
What's
reminiscing?
funny, because the day you two finally signed our little agreement, I was at that hotel, which was the first place that I had met you, Katie.
What a full
which
circle
I thought that was a
moment.
bit
How
poetic and
crazy.
full circle.
Yeah. Wow.
I was texting you guys a big congratulations, the same lobby that I had met
Look
Katie.
at God.
Crazy.
Wow, crazy.
And it's always been the easiest that Katie is my favorite character on Vanderpump Rules.
Do you really mean that?
No,
Or do
I
you
really
say that
do.
to everybody?
No, he definitely does not say that to everybody.
No, it's sometimes because I consider all of you guys friends. I've been friendly with all of you guys. I've known some more than others, but I haven't really been critical of you, and it's not because I haven't. Not that I certainly have tried not to. I suppose once we, this ball got rolling, but it does make it easier that you're my favorite character. Because sometimes I have had to say some things, and then I'll meet y'all in person. I'm like, oh, they didn't listen.
Has anyone ever called you out?
No, I will say, the Vanderpump cast as a whole, you guys are pros. And I feel like you guys have been through so much. You've had so much said about you, good, bad.
I mean, yeah, at this point.
It's I don't think you guys take all that stuff so personally. So I'm not too worried about it. Bachelor people are a little different. There's some sensitive souls there.
Well, I think some people definitely take things a little bit more personally.
Like Sheena?
I think Sheena has a harder time with criticism. Yeah. She's a sensitive person.
How are you and Sheena?
I think we're good. We're fine.
We're fine.
Yeah.
We're good or fine.
Good.
Are we more fine than good or more good than fine?
We're good. I mean, I haven't seen her in a minute, but I think contrary to what people might be thinking, yeah.
You're fine.
Yes.
Well, before we get into all of Vanderpump, and I have plenty to get into because obviously the season is approaching, let's talk about Disrespectfully.
Let's. My new favorite topic.
Well, I'm so excited just because obviously when thinking about what I wanted this network to be and what I wanted it to represent, obviously you two ladies, I think, embody that. This is the Viall Files is an audience of mostly millennial women. We love our men who listen, but the millennial women run strong on this. And I think you two represent that so well. We talk a lot about relationships and dating. We are connected very much into pop culture. And, Katie and Dayna, obviously you have been so open about your dating lives. And for me, when thinking about what this show could be, it was there's so much about your guys' lives that I don't think people get to see, even though they get to watch so much of you on Vanderpump, and like the kind of the authenticity of like what you guys are going through. You know, Katie, your divorce with Tom has been something that's been very talked about. And now that you're out there braving the dating world, which we know a lot about, you know, as a show that we talk a lot, it's a grind out there. And you as well, Dayna, like just to be able to hear very relatable stories about what it's like to kind of brave that world through the lens of you two, I think is going to be a lot of fun for people to listen to.
Well,
It is a brave
Katie,
new world.
you've been in your AD era for a while, which is life after divorce.
Yes.
And I consider you thriving. So it's been definitely a new chapter.
I would say that there's moments of thriving and then there's moments of just surviving, merely just trying to just, you know, be in the streets and and not, I mean, sometimes it's so grim. It's just like, wow, like this is really what it is. Because the landscape had totally changed from the time I was 24 and dating. It changed and then it didn't change. Like it's still what can be expected. Like, you know, men are not okay.
No, and I want to be a city girl so bad, but I'm a lover girl. Like I'm like, you're just talking about sensitivity. I'm so sensitive, and yeah, the landscape is brutal.
I'm still a lover girl.
Lover girl.
Yeah.
Want to be a city girl.
How
though.
did you two become friends?
From Vanderpump Rules.
We met.
So
That's how you met.
Mhm.
Yeah. Season 8, she came on the show, and I just like really quickly took to her. I just thought she was just like a cool gal that I wanted to like hang around.
Will you be gracing us in season 11 at all?
I filmed a tiny bit. I left the show for a lot of reasons, but one of which it was toxic for me. And I give so much credit to anyone who does reality TV. It's way harder than it looks.
Oh my God.
So
Nightmare.
much harder. And don't you love when people are like, you know what you signed up for? And I'm like, are you fucking okay? Like, I didn't know you don't know what you don't know. So when you're in it, it's so much harder. So this year I did think about coming back. I filmed and immediately was like, I cannot do this. So I don't even know if what I filmed will make it, but
You got PTSD.
I called her, like I had a panic attack the next morning, like full blown screaming, crying panic attack, and was like, didn't even realize. I was like, well, I'm in a better place now and, you know, so mentally stable, blah, blah, blah. And then, nope. So funneling that to a podcast. Yeah. fucked around and found out.
What was the thing that gave you the most anxiety?
I had a work situation. So people always assume that I was just a server, and I actually was in healthcare sales. Like I had a corporate job when I started filming the show, and they had me work at the restaurants to kind of fit me in because I was just a random. And I had a work situation that went really south because my company at the time was not okay with the show. And so I've been with my current company for like 3 years, and I like my job.
Okay,
and I immediately was like, holy shit, I cannot threaten my livelihood, and just wasn't worth it. And there was a lot of shouting. The day that I filmed, this like situation erupted, and the cortisol in the room was like, so
Occupational hazard.
Occupational hazard. I don't know. They just maybe have a more iron stomach than I do for that. And like, I'm good at confrontation when it arises, but it's not something I like. Like, I don't like always feeling like there's a fight around the corner.
I don't like that either, but it is an occupational hazard, you know?
Yeah.
Well, now you get to just vent on your show.
Yeah.
Right.
So thrilled to be doing this with her, and a little passion project that doesn't involve me getting screamed at.
How was your ladies' holiday? What'd you guys do?
Well, I mean, Christmas, I just spent it with my mom and my grandparents. It was a very, very low key Christmas. But then for New Year's, I went to Nashville to hang out with Caitlin. Why can't I have Kristens and Caitlins in my life, and I constantly am always mixing them up. With Caitlin Bristow, who lives there.
Oh.
She had like a little party, and my friend Bailey, our friend Bailey, who lives in Vancouver, came down as well.
Did that party seem to stir up?
I
Some
heard
drama
about that.
Some drama.
I heard something.
You're not aware?
Of course, I'm aware.
I'm not aware. Tell me.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about your
I-
chocolate.
listen,
I'm tapped out.
I don't know if it's
that
my.
stuff.
I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus.
Oh, I don't want you to throw
or
anyone
say-
under the
or
bus.
say- I
Is there
know.
someone to?
What did you?
Is
What
there
did you
someone to throw under
hear?
the bus?
What did you hear?
Well, there was some like footage taken
Right.
of some people
Right.
kind of wrapped around each other, really entangled. It looked like the clock was about to strike 12.
Oh, it did. Oh,
so it was like, is this a New Year's kiss situation?
I only became aware when I saw a screenshot of your friend Caitlin. It was a post that she posted on her story in response to, it seemed to be some criticism she was receiving.
Yeah, she was getting a lot of that. And it was really, I felt unfair and really harsh, like very extreme criticism.
What was the criticisms?
Well, I think people were just treating her as if like she had committed some serious crime just for, maybe hanging out with somebody.
Basher people.
Yeah. And it's just a case of people maybe not thinking that they know more than they do.
Okay. So
it's a frustrating place to be in because I've been there myself with just, people being particularly hard on you and you not being able to just fully defend yourself in the way you want to.
Is there something going on between her and Zach?
That's not for me to
Not for you to say.
It's for me to say.
Okay. So not no.
But it's not for I don't want to speak on what is happening in her personal life.
I don't want to. It's my. Listen, you'll get it as a now host of a successful podcast. You're gonna have to ask some tough questions to each other.
No,
to your guests.
It's fair, and I thought you might. Yeah. I was prepared, but I just.
We wish whoever dates in Bachelor Nation nothing but the best. I have no opinion on it whatsoever. But I just here to ask.
You have no opinion whatsoever.
Truly, I don't. No.
He just has a job to ask.
It is my job to
of course.
ask.
Yes, of course. I'm not knocking you for doing your job.
I don't give a fuck who dates in Bachelor Nation. And if two people are single, they have every right. Who gives a shit?
Amen.
And it takes two to tangle. Tangle?
Tango.
Tango.
Tangle and tango, yeah.
So was the other person, Zachary, receiving any hate mail?
I didn't ask.
Was this unfolding the night of or the next day? The drama.
I think it was the next day, right? Because
okay.
I think that's when
I don't know when people post these things.
I mean, I think that there was like a video posted that night, I would assume, and then I'm sure everyone immediately saw it. But she might not have noticed it until the next day.
Was it even her photo, or did someone else?
I think it was someone else video.
Someone else. Yeah.
They were just in the frame. Did you kiss anyone at midnight?
Oh, great question.
No, I mean, you kiss all your friends,
Yeah,
you're like, yeah, happy New Year, but no kiss for Katie.
What
right?
about you, Dayna?
Yeah, who are you kissing?
I kissed a gorgeous girl. Her name is Laszlo, my new cat. I'm obsessed with her. We had quite the makeout. I didn't do anything because I was in Toronto for Christmas and was in the countryside for most of the trip and had to go get my new kitten and come home. So I was just in matching PJs with our good friend Raleigh, drinking Vouv and eating pasta. It was great. I loved it. I was asleep by 12:15.
How long have you been single for, Dayna?
It's been 84 years.
I was waiting for that.
On and off for a long time, probably like 7 years, but have learned a lot. And back to disrespectfully, like the lessons have been bountiful and a lot of it has been bad tasting medicine. So I feel like her and I both offer a unique perspective on a lot of it, but I imagine I still have many more lessons in my future. Every time I meet someone who I think is great, I'm like, oh, this is so exciting. And then a month later, it's like, lesson. So we'll see.
Yeah. Right.
How did you guys come up with the name Disrespectfully?
I think it just embodies sort of the attitude that we've, embraced, and when it comes to it's being unapologetic in our ways.
I think Katie and I are both people who just are who we are, and you can take that or leave it. So Disrespectfully really captured like this is what it is.
So we're gonna offend people, hopefully.
Possibly.
Well, I mean, at this point, I think if you don't want to be in women today in society, still with misogyny being so rampant, women, if you're not affable and pleasing and looked at in a certain way, you get judged, and I think that's just not the way. We don't want to be like tiptoeing and walking on eggshells through life, especially when you're just trying to, have a good time.
Yeah, and it's not even just misogyny, like internalized misogyny. Like it's so crazy how much of it comes from women, obviously, like that as well, which I'm sure you're trying to say. But yeah, and we just don't subscribe to that. They don't care about anyone else's rules or what they want for you.
You mentioned earlier that some things are similar and some things are different when it comes to dating. What has been something that you think hasn't changed since you were last on the hard-hitting dating streets, and what is something that you found to be new?
What's new is me. Obviously, I'm a lot more grown and mature and confident as a person. You know, I mean, your 20s compared to your mid to late 30s are like night and day. So me as a person and how I approach things and am able to handle things is completely different than when I was in my 20s. But I think what you can expect from other people in terms of like the men out there is pretty much the same. Like they're just so nonchalant. Like there's just so like it's
You mean like the classic Tom Schwartz nonchalantness?
not necessarily that, but just these guys just I mean, they give nothing.
Have you
Nothing.
Have you been actively trying, like when it comes to like guys that you're pursuing and dating, like how different are they from your ex?
Oh, I would say very different. They're all different from each other too.
Okay.
I mean, I'm trying all of them on.
Oh, we're going for variety right now.
Yeah.
Okay, we're in a variety era.
Yeah, you got to know like what you're, what you like, what you don't like.
How long were you with Schwartz?
For 12 years. Yeah.
Damn.
That's a really
so
long
crazy.
time.
It
Yeah.
is so crazy.
Such a long time.
Yeah. So, and some of them, when I see things that are very similar to Tom, I'm like, this feels really familiar, and I like
what specifically? Like, what's a behavior that triggers you that you had to deal with for so many years when it came to your ex-husband?
Someone who seems that they just don't want anything, too serious. They're very non-committal. They're just like not ready for life in those kind of ways. They're not grown up. They're not emotionally mature.
Have you found that to be something that's age specific with the men that you've dated, or not?
No, honestly, I when it comes to dating, I'm not looking for anyone of a certain age, because truly I think men in their 40s can be very immature emotionally and just mentally, where men who are in their late 20s or early 30s, like their EQ can be higher than mine.
Yeah, I mean,
truly, there is no it just I think it just depends on like where you come from and how you're raised and just the things that you've maybe dealt with in life.
It's so funny to me when someone says I'm raising my age bracket because I'm looking for more maturity, and I'm like, oh, honey, no, that's not gonna do
case
anything.
by case.
It is case by case.
Have you had any horror stories of older men?
Oh my God. It's also okay. So I fuck with apps more than she does. But like it would shock you the amount of men that are 50, 46, 47, 48 that say on their profile, not looking for anything serious. And I'm like, you're heading toward Medicaid. What do you mean you're not looking for anything serious? What are you looking for? Yeah. I mean, just like.
You got 50-year-old men saying that?
Yeah. And I would say the most of like horror stories with men, I did have one who I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure had a family. Like the sketchiness of lies on top of lies on top of lies and just things that weren't making sense, and almost positive. Like that was what was going on. But also just the dating pool seems to be a lot of avoidant people, avoidant attachment styles right now. So, they will try to reel you in, and love bombing is real, and it's hard to sometimes differentiate between what is love bombing and someone that just likes you. And then all of a sudden when things start getting more serious, they're like, what are you talking about? I didn't say I wanted a relationship. I just said I wanted to see you every day, all the time, and
I just want to get to know you,
go
on
shopping
dates
together, and sleep together every night. And I don't want you to sleep with anyone else, but I don't want to be with you. What are you crazy? And you're like, yeah, I guess I'm just cuckoo.
Yeah,
You guys to lock me up.
Sorry,
nut job.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yuck.
Wild
Glad I'm not in
yuck.
that.
Wild times.
I will say, and I'm sure that you feel the same way, but the landscape is brutal right now for dating, right? It has changed a lot, even in the time that I've been single. But something about being in your 30s, like I've never been more sure about who I am, and my bandwidth for bullshit is non-existent. Like I just don't have a threshold for things that I used to put up with. So even though it's pretty scary out there, it's easier for me to deal with than it's ever been because I'm so quick to.
Totally.
Bye.
Yeah. Because as much as like, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, am I going to be like alone for like ever and ever and ever? That thought can be a little daunting. But also it's like, I know what it's like to be with the wrong person and be in a relationship that isn't right and doesn't feel good. And that can be more isolating and lonely than anything. So it's like, I would rather just be by myself and be, you know, technically alone than be with somebody
And
like
feel
that.
alone.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And furthermore, for some reason, our culture only looks at romantic love as worthy or whatever. And like we have so many great friends and such great relationships around us. And there's so much love in our lives. It's like funny that that's the only bar of success. So yeah, personally. No,
would you say
fuck that.
this is the most content period of both of your lives?
Yeah, for me, I mean, 2023 was a tricky one, but yeah, I'd say overall.
Yeah, and not even so much because, like, honestly, like, who knows what this year is going to bring for all of us, right? But in terms of like being comfortable in your own skin and confident with yourself, and sure enough yourself to like set up those boundaries or say no to people in ways that I think maybe when I was younger in my 20s, or like didn't have the confidence to maybe speak up or do that. Where you know, the older I got more sure of myself and more just like, you know, comfortable with who I was so that I could just be like, you know, disrespectfully fuck off.
Yes.
And would you say that that's where you ladies are at?
Oh, fully.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even know what boundaries were in my 20s. I didn't even know what they were, how to establish them, what I truly wanted for myself. You know, I just was like, I was so desperately seeking validation from outside of my own self that like that was just not even a thing. I just
What's an insecurity that you guys both have when it comes to your dating life now with where you're at in your life that you think is, you know, relatable to other women in similar positions that you're in?
That's a really good question. That would have been easier for me to answer 2 years ago. Like I have really buttoned things up, and I used to be so afraid of being alone, and kind of like what you just said, I thought that if I wasn't in a relationship and having someone reflect back to me what I was hoping to see, that I didn't have worth, and it's just not where I'm at anymore. So, I mean, my only fear is just being too amazing for someone. Like, what can you do?
I mean, it's not insecurity, but like there's things that I know that about myself that I'm not going to change that could potentially deter somebody. Like I'm a very direct person, and so like I don't have a problem like communicating things straight out the gate with people. And that's when they say like, oh, well, I don't like, I'm not trying to like get too serious too fast. And I'm like, I'm just talking.
Yeah.
This is just, I don't just want to have like functional communication. I'm like, what am I just going to be like cool right now and then drop the mask and then have like get real with you? Like, no, like this is who I am. I do get insecure about the show. And because sometimes they'll be like, oh, I've never watched the show. And I'm like, that's fine. They're like, should I? And then they'll be like, oh, okay, well, I watched an episode. I'm like, which one? You know, like, I don't know if that's the most...
Katie, I'm still waiting for your, like, I remember watching Vanderpump season 10 for the first time. And then people were like, oh, you know, and like talking about, you know, oh, I'm such a big fan of Katie's. And, you know, there's always a critic here or there that's like, oh, well, you got to go back and watch the old episodes. I've been doing that. And it's... You're the least problematic person by a fucking mile. It's
not that it's problematic. Okay, I think it's just that, you know, when you're meeting people, they have all the anonymity in the world. Like I have to like everything I want to learn about a person, I'm going to find out through talking to them. You can find out a lot about me just with a quick Google search. And that it doesn't make me feel insecure, but there's a level of discomfort that I'm
vulnerable. Like, yeah, you feel exposed almost.
Yeah, and so I'm like, that doesn't seem fair.
How do you deal with that?
Just deal.
You just deal.
There's nothing I can do. It's like I can't stop somebody from wanting to Google. They're gonna do what they're gonna do, but I just hope that. And the thing is, if anything they read online is going to prevent them from wanting to see me or date me, then they're really not the person for me. And I just have to, I'm more comfortable now accepting and actually loving the fact that I'm just not going to be for everyone anyway. So just weed them out.
Sure. I got used to just being myself for a long time. Well, I just had to make sure Natalie never watched. She's never seen The Bachelor or
so
my stuff.
You relate.
Oh my God, yes.
So it's like, even though it's like maybe not like bad or any, like it's just sometimes I like, why do you want to watch a highlight reel of my past relationship? Do you want to see me get married? I don't know. Like, then how about I call up your ex-girlfriends and they can tell me all kinds of stories? Like, I don't want that.
Right. Let me just give you the cliff notes.
Yeah,
Like,
he
we don't
threw a
need
couple
to...
drinks on me. He never had my back.
He cheated on me. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, it's wild.
I haven't got to that part.
Oh,
Stay tuned.
Who did he cheat on you with?
several people.
Sheena from Vegas. Sheena in Vegas.
Baby Sheena.
I don't know why that's a weird
People
like,
think
theory.
it's
No.
because Sheena did say
Yeah,
that she
Sheena
thought it
said-
was going to the grave. That they were going to take that make out to the grave.
Mhm.
So why would anyone think that
Wait,
it was
so did
anyone
Sheena
but-
make out with Tom or not?
You're gonna see, but I will tell you that it was not the other Sheena.
It was not the
Or
other.
mini
First of all,
Sheena.
that's not even her name. But no, like that's a complete theory that someone made up online.
Will Sheena have to apologize or answer questions once whatever this is revealed?
Yeah, I think people are gonna be like, Tom didn't just say that because he, like, there's obviously more to that story.
And it involves Sheena.
Well, he did say Sheena.
Well, I don't know because Sheena literally responded to someone's comment and was like,
He wasn't talking about me.
wasn't talking about me, or no, I
She
didn't.
tweeted it. Yeah.
Or like, I can't believe you made out with Schwartz. And she's like, I
didn't.
didn't. Like, all will be revealed.
I think she was being a little nuanced in her
Mm.
response.
It's like it wasn't a makeout. We kissed. You know, like one of those things.
Okay.
Like we didn't use tongue. It was just pecks over and over.
That sounds like a fucking Tom Sandoval line where it's just like, whoa, like, yeah, I didn't cheat. We only fucked, you know, like.
we hooked up and then we didn't for 4 weeks before the affair started. It's like, oh, okay. Well, when you add those 4 weeks buffer in there, that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, when it comes to Vanderpump Rules, I don't know what is or isn't, considered wrong in your guys' world sometimes.
I feel the same way. I feel crazy. Like, just truly.
It's like a gaslight of like ethics in society, like Vanderpump.
It's like this weird dystopian sort of like parallel universe that like I sort of like hop in and out of, and it's just
Questions for you both, and I want you both answering because obviously, Dayna, you are tapped in as well. Like who, and I guess include yourself, but who do you think should be the most worried going into season 11 about people's opinions changing for the worst about them?
who do you think?
I don't know, because people already have a very low view of Tom Sandoval. So it
can get lower.
I mean, it's funny that, and I get why she feels this way or was saying this, but when Ariana was like, I'm, have concerns that people are going to turn or whatever, I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think that there's them shooting for some type of redemption arc for him, or like maybe trying not to focus on the whole thing so much, because so much of this year after filming, like obviously they pick cameras up and film an extra episode, and then so much of the year it's been talked about. But I don't know, I just think that he still cannot take full accountability for what happened. It's physically impossible for him. And the way in which that when he does talk about it, especially with people, like
I'm familiar.
Yeah, like the way that he'll just spin it and immediately be like, well, this person did this. And it's like, we don't care. That's not what we're talking about. It has nothing to do with this exists in a vacuum. We're talking about what you did. So I think he's gross, but what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think even
He's gross, but
even him given the
that's low hanging fruit.
Well, I
know,
mean,
it's
but the thing I think even him given the time and the floor to speak and all of that, without taking true accountability in the sense of saying like, this is specifically where I went wrong and hurt you, and I know exactly how and when that all went down. And it's going to be a little hard for you to do any kind of answering, and I think anyone that has any empathy for him might have a little bit of trouble too.
Empathy in what way?
I I mean, like you see like Sheena kind of having, you know, struggle with like missing her like friendship with him. And like, I get it. Like I've had long-term friendships with people that I lose and it's like, it can be a struggle. But I think like this one in particular, like seemed like an easy one, you know?
That makes sense. Cause like, obviously we all loved, I mean, Sheena closed out. I mean, other than the reunion, she closed out season 10, like a fucking champ. I mean, that was
She put a bow on it. Yeah.
an iconic scene.
Yeah.
Where some might argue that Sheena, God bless her, has a history of being a bit of a pick me. And that scene that she had with Tom was like finally, Sheena.
Yeah.
Here you are standing up on the right side of right for the girls, so to speak, saying the right things. And are you suggesting that maybe that might come across in season 11 as potentially disingenuous because at the end of the day, she's just going to miss her friendship with Tom, and because Tom, according to you, isn't, holding himself accountable, that Sheena will find ways to make excuses as to why it's now okay to be friends with Tom, even though he hasn't actually demonstrated any type of actual contrition when it comes to his behaviors.
A little bit, yeah. And it gets like confusing because she also has a very long, history and friendship with Ariana as well. So it's like, to me, I think if you are feeling stuck or in the middle of something, you feel like you have to like make a choice or something. I think you rely on your integrity.
Yeah, I think the guiding light there is if you have two friends that something really malignant happens and you have to choose who's in the wrong, who was done dirty, point blank period.
Yeah.
I think that's like not saying that it doesn't hurt when you have a friendship breakup and there's a lot of history. I totally get that. I totally get needing to forgive, but repurposing someone in your life isn't necessarily the solution, particularly if it, and I'm not speaking for Ariana, but if it made someone else feel some kind of way.
I mean, it's also like, didn't she bring Ariana into this show as like her best friend?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that how, so it's like, how are you now kind of turning on her in a way?
Are Brock and Tom like besties?
I don't think they're like besties, but they definitely have a
relationship.
Yeah.
Charlie called him a payroll husband.
She has been calling him that. Yeah. Oh boy.
I'm kind of sad that Charlie's not on the season.
I was really wanting her back, but I get it.
Yeah, PTSD.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
Only so many people are as brave as you, Katie.
Well, I mean, I've been in this for it's.
What about Lala?
Lala and I, like, Lala's probably the one person I had like the most, I don't want to say drama, but like we definitely like had a tougher time this season.
Why do you think that is?
I think not that our friendship was strained, but like there was a bit of a strain, or there was something kind of like under the surface there that was coming out a bit. So we kind of like I definitely had a short fuse with one another.
We actually discussed this on our episode of Rally Recap this week. Thinking about like Lala's point of view, because one could easily say that what she went through with Randall was, like, honestly more difficult and more stressful, given that children and lawyers and all that bullshit was involved. And yet it was Ariana that got all this kind of attention, and even getting the attention while Lala's like Hulu documentary like got released and it was overshadowed by Scandival. Do you think that has affected Lala?
Yeah, because I think anyone can take that sort of like objective like viewpoint on just like the whole like social economics of the Scandival part of it and be like, wow, like the public response to everything that was happening was wild and extreme at points. To be like why like it just trying to like break it down, of like. And Ariana really, if you want to look at it from that point of view, like was like the perfect, victim. She was always very like well liked, and and then I could even put myself in that position too. Of all I didn't go through crazy what she did, but just having put so much very hard, intimate moments of my life on the show, And then, go through a divorce where I didn't even have the support of the cast, really. Like, oh, it would have been great to have the support of the nation. So I can get that kind of point of view as well. But similar to Lala, I myself, like, we've had our villain moments. We can be polarizing people on the show. So, like, I can understand, like, why I didn't get that or why she didn't get that as well.
I think the other factor is it's really apples and oranges, because I do understand what you're saying, and no one is saying that Lala didn't go through a horrific experience. Absolutely. But people have been watching this show for over 10 years. They've known them as a couple for almost that amount of time.
Yeah.
Also, in addition, who he cheated with was a close friend of hers.
Yeah.
And not only that, the close friend used to be engaged to a good friend of his. So it's like,
Totally.
I also understand why it blew up the way that it did, because it's, for most people, your brain can't comprehend doing something so dirty.
Yeah.
And like, obviously people were going to have big reactions to that.
Even though what Randall, that whole thing was bad, like just horrific.
Horrible.
I think in the Vanderpump world, that people were like had so much access to and were felt like so much a part of for so long.
I think, can we mention this? I mean, I think a lot of people kind of saw it coming with Randall and Lala. I don't, when it was all kind of out there, I don't think it surprised a lot of people that relationship didn't last. And I think with Tom and Ariana, for all of Tom's faults and the criticism that has gone his way, like Tom and Ariana was, like you said, kind of like a staple of Vanderpump, and a relationship that really stood the test of time. And then for it to end the way it did was that perfect storm.
Yeah.
So do you think Lala's handling it well now? I guess is my big question. It's just like, do you think, she's got that quote in the trailer about calling Ariana God and things like that. Is that more soundbitey, or do you think Lala really believes that?
It's not soundbite. It's again, like, you're just gonna.
I'm just asking what you believe.
Yeah,
where's her heart?
I think Lala's heart is, she's got like such a big heart. Like she is like such like a. She really does like care and stuff like that. I think it was just, how do I explain this? I think it was more of like objectively speaking, more than it was just coming from a place of being jealous or angry. Okay. I think that. Does that make sense?
No, I get so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't there for that conversation, so it's hard to say. And like, hello, it's the production's job, right, to make it like really exciting in the trailer or whatever. So
no, I get that. That's why I'm curious in terms of sometimes we have groups of friends where you can just kind of like tell they're a little bit more jealous than the other person, and I don't know if like the Sheenas and the Lalas of the world are like, because like they've we talked about this last week too. I feel like the two people who have monetized Scandival the most outside of Ariana, and Ariana has fucking every right to, would be Lala and Sheena. Would you agree or disagree?
Well, I mean, I think, with like having like podcasts to like talk about and getting like crazy ad revenue. I mean, that's pretty.
And their merch and all that others. They've leaned in. Their song.
The lean in, for sure.
The Christmas song.
Which I have no problem with. It's just like when you start like demonstrating like little cracks of jealousy, then it gets a little weird, I guess is what I'm saying. From a fan point of view. Just from a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Katie's like, I can't say anything.
Well, I like, again, it's too soon to start. Like, it's more fun. That's why it's more fun to talk about when the show's like airing, because then it's like there's more context there.
I gotta ask the question.
I know, but I'm saying when we have more context and we know like what we're actually talking about.
Do you think your ex-husband will ever get out of his Peter Pan lifestyle?
God, I hope so, for his sake. For his sake, I do, because I really want the best for Tom. I want him to be happy. I want him to do well in life, but like he is in his own way.
Yeah.
All the time.
And you're right. I mean, I have since met him. He's a very affable guy. He is a charming motherfucker,
Yeah.
But
until you're in a relationship with him, it drives you crazy.
Look, I mean, even just like I've gotten, getting to know Sandoval through Special Forces by proxy, I've gotten to know Schwartz, and it's like, yeah, they're fun guys, but like hanging out with them is like, it's clearly like they'll say shit, and I'm like, I just live a very different lifestyle than you guys right now. Like I'm just in a very different era, and it's, we're essentially the same age, and it's just fascinating to me, like, they're what seems to be their immediate goals.
I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that in 10 years, when they're, approaching
50?
in their 50s, that they'll be strumming a ukulele at 4 a.m. together in like ambient lighting and
But that's
In
what
the
I'm
hot tub.
I know.
literally with like a bunch of zebra pattern around.
That's what I'm kind of
yeah.
like fascinated with them. It's just like I have someone who just like, hey, what about 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Like, where like are the decisions I'm making now? How are they going to affect me in the future? And like, you can't always you can't live every day like that. But like, it just seems like those two don't even worry about tomorrow.
I know. But that's why, like, when I realized that, like, Tom Schwartz was always going to be under Sandoval's spell in that kind of way, that I just.
Do you think he's still under that spell?
Yes.
That is shocking.
That is shocking.
Well, he put Schwartz in a horrifying position when they had just opened a business and he was doing all this nefarious shit. Here's the thing, like, any repercussions when you put your name on a building and you're doing something really dirty, and I can't imagine him or her it didn't cross their mind one time. Like, if this gets out, it's going to be really bad, right? So if you have a business partner who's also in this world and whatever, like, I don't know, me personally, you're not really a friend to me, putting me in that kind of position when I have like if my financial well-being is on the line.
Yeah.
I tried.
But what do I know?
I tried to explain that to him over and over and over again, and he's like, "Yo, no, I know, but I'm just like concerned about the business now." I'm like, "You wouldn't have to be concerned about your business if he
you
didn't
had a
do
good
this. Like,
friend,
are you
yeah.
not understanding?"
You and I and Allie went and got drinks at Laurel a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you might have been pregnant, so you didn't get drinks.
I did have a Sprite, but I asked for it with the lime to make it look a little spicy.
And we were kind of talking about this, and you told me about this this idea that you had for Schwartz of how they could pivot with the bar. Do you remember that? I kind of forgot. I'm kind of and it was kind of ingenious. And like you had an idea of what they should do with the bar.
All my ideas are.
Well, do you remember the idea?
I was just like, well, what better time to like rebrand to Once Upon a Time, get like new.
There was, yeah. Once Upon a Time.
And like you can get like new excited, investors in there. Maybe someone that's like more experienced, and well, they have Greg, but like Greg can't do it all on his own.
They could have not called it Schwartz and Sandy's. Pivot, buy Sandoval out, rename it as Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time was on the table before they opened and ultimately picked.
I don't
Schwartz
think
and Sandy.
it was never on the table because Sandoval would never allow it to be on the table because
it had to be.
Because I came up with it.
Yeah, it was being floated. It was.
It's a great name.
Great name.
It would have been even a better name had they removed Sandoval from the bar.
Truly, I know.
Once Upon a Time.
But nope.
Yeah, that would have been iconic.
I know.
He should have listened to you a little bit more.
And even for a continuity perspective, like what a great second bar if your first bar is literally called Tom Tom. Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
Listen, to me it was so obvious. It was just it was like gold. But they just I don't know. It was like no, it had to be Schwartz and Sandy's. I'm like
whatever.
Once Upon a Time. It sounds like a great place to make memories.
I think so too. And it's like right below like the Hollywood sign. It's like feels like very like I don't know. There's something kind of special about it.
How has business been for them? Do you know?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I think it's a little odd that they chose to leave town over New Year's and like not
spend it in their bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bringing it all.
I have no idea. I don't go there.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it in a long time.
Well,
your guess is as good as mine.
We went once for research.
They didn't have ketchup.
No, they had. It was like cherry ketchup. You were like, "What is?
Who the fuck is this? Like what?"
Yeah,
they didn't have ketchup.
Yeah. So, but we quickly left and did not return. But
it was fine.
Yeah, they were playing. What was the music they were playing in there? It was like elevator music or something. It was so strange, and we were all like, "What is this vibe right now? Like, what are y'all going for?" It was very
That's
confusing.
a great question.
Yeah,
it's a bit all over the place.
Well, it's like every 3 feet of the bar is a different vibe. So there's just it's if you pan around the room, you're like, what is going on?
Yep,
a lot going on there.
I know that you're getting some shit about something about her. People thinking that it was like some sort of scam for merch or
Oh,
something.
God, yeah.
Like, what is going on?
What an expensive scam.
Truly.
Yeah.
Because you could just sell merch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not like build
That's
out
what I
a
didn't
whole
understand
spot.
about that. It's like, what's their angle? They could have just been like, here's some merch. It's like
Yeah.
everyone was going to support you two in that moment.
And not have to spend, money on a buyout and rent and then the whole design. We did
Yeah.
all that just to sell merch. Weird.
Weird.
No, everything has been going through the process of like permits and the city sort of their, process of things. And it takes a really long time. It's not easy. And anyone that has opened a restaurant or any kind of food, business, they fully get it. They know that it is daunting and relentless and it takes a really long time. And I think for everybody else, they just don't understand. They're like, it's just sandwiches. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it was like granola bars. Like it doesn't matter what it is. You have to go through this process. It could be a full service restaurant. It would still be the same process. It doesn't matter like what we're doing. And we didn't even have our first inspection until like August because we had this patio out front. And when we found out they were going to be doing this whole like street like thing on Robertson where they're going to be expanding the sidewalks, and so they wanted the patio removed, and so we were like not fighting with them, but we were going back and forth for like literally months, and just saying like, can we keep it until next year? We'll sign some kind of acknowledgement saying that we'll remove it 60 days prior to the project commencing. Like we'll do whatever. Can we just keep it for now? Because like why not? And they went back and forth because at one point we thought maybe they would, and then ultimately in July is when they were like, nope. So we had to remove that, and then we could finally go through our inspections because we weren't going to go through the whole inspection process and then have to do it all again. So I mean, that's been the
well, to put things into
process.
perspective. I mean, it took this show, disrespectfully, between you two and me, was in the works for like 6 months, and that's just a podcast.
Yeah.
It doesn't include a lease on a restaurant and food and inspections.
Well, maybe ours will. We don't know. We might expand out and make it
who
a
knows? But I'm
drinking
just saying,
experience.
shit takes time.
Yeah.
It just takes time, but it's going to happen and it will happen. It'll be great. So just trying to be patient.
Do we have like a goal? We don't want to put that out
as soon as possible.
as soon as possible.
I mean, yeah, like once we get that final permit, it's like it's go time, and then we can like finally bring in product.
we'll
the
do
thing
a
is, you
live
can't bring in
episode
product.
from
Amazing.
something about her.
There you go.
There you go.
Also, all these people put a sandwich in your pipe and smoke it. Like the way that the conspiracy theories and what like is like, are you bored? Are you that bored? Like, what are you talking about?
People are
The
like,
scam?
well,
like,
Ariana doesn't need it anymore. She's busy. I'm like, what? What do you mean she doesn't need it anymore? Like we've been like committed to this project for years. Like she's going to Broadway and then she'll be back, and then like it's fine, but then they're like, well, Katie's never done, or I don't know, there's the notion that I'm like don't follow through on things, or I don't know. It's just like
It's at this point just like out of y'all's
It's just noise.
hands. It's other people who you're waiting on other people. It's not, it's out of y'all's control at the moment.
Well, it's just-
so like,
That's just the organic fandom that you guys have to deal with.
It's lovely.
Because there will be people looking to root for Sandoval. Like there are going to be fans watching season 11 who are going to look for every reason to criticize Ariana and root for Tom just because they get bored of a storyline and they want to change.
Contrarians out
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
So she'll be interesting.
Katie, do you watch any Housewives?
I do, but I'm like behind on a lot of them. Like I haven't caught up on Salt Lake.
It was Charlie, wasn't it, who told us that there was kind of like an unspoken rule about having like working for Lisa Vanderpump and watching
Like Bev Hills.
Bev Hills after she was gone.
I never heard that rule before.
He was
Your
like,
underwear.
"Whoa."
I've never heard that rule before.
You're like, oh, well, never mind.
How is Lisa when it comes to all of you guys? Does she still like to play like Switzerland, or do you feel like she has been more willing to take a stand?
Switzerland. Do you feel like she's usually neutral?
I mean, she's still like, I don't know. Well, if other than Kristen, she seems to be like
I don't know. I mean, I think
she was even during Scandival, she was, she wasn't willing to give up on Tommy.
I don't know why that is.
I mean, it wouldn't make that much sense from a business perspective, I would say.
Well, I think it's maybe,
She could still. I mean, it didn't stop her from shitting on Kristen.
but she wasn't.
She
like,
didn't have a bar with Kristen. With
Oh,
Kristen
that's right.
called
She's in a- she's
called
got a-
Kristen. That does not exist.
That's a good point,
Yeah.
Dana.
I'm a thinker.
Mm.
So that's what I'm saying. And also not to say anyone who says anything other than the fact that he was blatantly wrong. Both of them wrong as fuck. There's nothing else to say about it. So like,
Well,
yeah, what perspective was there besides that?
because it's like you wanted to like ease up on him because it's like it's been enough. It's like he's paid his like. It's not about that. It's just about the fact that he still hasn't taken accountability. There's just shown zero remorse, and it's like everyone makes mistakes. This wasn't a mistake. Like, yes, so everyone makes mistakes. Yeah, for sure. But like, and everyone has cheated. Not like this. And yeah,
No.
when you're and maybe in your 20s, like yes, it can be like a little more forgivable because it's like that's when you should be fucking up and learning really tough lessons and growing from them. But if you're in your 40s and you're still doing that shit, it's a little less forgivable.
But also, if you can admit that it was a mistake, then you should be able to apologize and admit how fucked up it was and say like,
Yeah.
but he still can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. He should
Or
just be
it-
able to say that. Like
Or it's quickly followed by but Ariana did this.
Oh, the qualifiers.
Oh my
or,
God.
Ariana said this.
Not
and
trying to
I
hear
had
that.
a choice between this or that, and what do you expect me to do?
And I was I was in this place. This is why I did it. It's like you were covering and making choices and decisions all along the way to protect this and keep it going. So it's like to say that like you were just
like, whoops, I
Like,
fell and my penis went
you
inside
didn't
her.
ha-
Like that is not
it's like,
what happened.
I didn't have a choice because I just
No.
I was in such a bad place. It's like that's not how this works though. Like
And again, if you're not, not thinking, okay, long-term goals, there's no way it never once crossed his mind how bad that would look if it came out. So it's like, how do you think if you're not in a good place, what place do you think you're going to be in when this comes out? And like to call it just like, oh, it was an accident. Like he had her in St. Louis on the low for Christmas. Like that wasn't just an accident or something, you weren't sure about or didn't think through. So if you kind of to your point, and when it comes out, just say, yeah, I actually just did this. I willfully knew how much it would hurt the people around me, my friends,
but
Ariana.
I couldn't
just-
stop myself because
and I
I
didn't.
wanted to.
I didn't want to. I liked the way this
or
ditzy
just
girl made
say,
me feel.
I didn't take the time to consider, and I was selfish and self-centered, and there are no excuses.
I
and I want to
could-
not do that in the future.
I couldn't even take the time to consider because I was so consumed with what I was doing, and I just like I was caught up, and like just something, but just to like constantly be blaming it on everything outside of himself is just like it's so tired.
Yeah, why don't you just like you could just say my insecurities were suffocating me, and I liked the way this person made me feel and like the rush of it all. Just say that. Just say you couldn't fill your own cup. We're aware you're a bartender. You don't know how to fill a fucking cup. So
Texting office hours.
There we go. All right, ladies, it's time for texting office hours.
All right,
Ready to deliver?
yeah.
Great.
sure.
Rocket Money! Rocket Money is a free personal app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills all in one place. It's incredible, especially when it comes to canceling those unused and unwanted subscriptions. I mean, it's amazing. They add up. It's how do you really remember that one app that you downloaded 4 months ago because you needed to do something and never used it ever since, and you've probably been paying $19.95 a month ever since. Yikes! Well, let Rocket Money identify those apps you're not using and cancel them for you. They are helping people save on average $720 a year just by canceling unused subscriptions. I myself saved over $1,000. I mean, amazing. What would you buy for $720, Justin?
Tiny little boat.
Tiny little boat. You can buy a tiny little boat. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/VIALL today. That's rocketmoney.com/VIALL. rocketmoney.com/VIALL. OneSkin. Look at me. Look at my face. Look how young I look. And thanks to OneSkin.
And me for putting you on OneSkin.
That's right. Baby helps. Well, it's OneSkin. They're literally through science letting people reverse aging. Reverse, not even stop, reverse aging. That is right. It's incredible what people in science can do for you, and let science help you. Their products are powered by the scientifically proven peptide called OS1 that targets fine lines and wrinkles right where they start, your cells. With their full line of face, eye, and body, sun, and travel size products, OneSkin doesn't only promise healthier skin, they prove it. And we're all in. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company by focusing on the cellular aspect of aging. OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started with 15% off using code VIALL at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code VIALL. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, and please support our show and tell them we sent you. New year, healthier skin. That's OneSkin. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Jess, and I am 40 years old.
How can we help, Jess?
Well, I am trying to figure out if I should stay in a loveless marriage or file for divorce.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, I'm sorry that you feel like you're in a loveless marriage. We do have someone here. Well, I don't know. It wasn't loveless.
Well, it was lacking in many ways.
Okay.
But yeah.
Anyways, this is not about Katie's marriage that's over. Tell us about your marriage and the lack of love that's in it, and why, if you truly feel like it's loveless, why are you considering staying in it?
Well, the biggest challenge is we have 3 children,
Okay.
ages 5, 3, and 1. So they're all little babies and precious babies. The main reason why we have trouble in our marriage is because he is an alcoholic. He does admit that, but I have been trying to communicate to him exactly what I need. And I need to see some love from him, some action, not being drunk every night. Yeah, it's a lot.
So he is willing to at least admit that he has a drinking problem. How long has he been admitting that?
He's been admitting that for at least 8 years now.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. So has he done anything other than admit to it?
He had to go to rehab because he got his second DUI.
Okay.
And he went to rehab for alcoholism and pills. When he came home, he seemed good for about 30 days, and then he started drinking again, and it's just been a downfall. I'm talking like drunk every night, but functioning. I just don't really trust him around our kids because sometimes he's a little aggressive. He's also lying to me consistently, hiding alcohol. It's just been a big issue.
Well, I'm so sorry that you're dealing with this. That sucks.
It's okay.
Obviously, 3 young kids is a lot to consider, and I totally understand why you're taking that into consideration. Nevertheless, I mean, this sounds bad, and you know, it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And
he does try to talk to me about it, and he only tries to talk to me when he's drunk. So I try to wait for him to talk to me in the morning when he's not drunk, and he mentions nothing about it. And if I bring it up, it's just he kind of walks out the door.
Do the kids notice when daddy is not sober?
Love your question. My oldest just started realizing a couple months ago. She's like, "You're mad at daddy because he's drunk, aren't you?" And that broke my heart.
Yeah.
So,
Jess, I would be curious, have you talked to an attorney or gotten any type of feedback from them? Because I actually had a friend that went through this recently, and it is something to consider, but you just said that he got his second DUI. If he gets another DUI and hurts someone or himself, property, whatever, you are financially liable for that too in a marriage. So unfortunately, like, there are possible financial implications for you and your children beyond just the emotional implications. And unfortunately, the rates of recovery for addicts aren't great. And the first thing that needs to happen is he would have to really want to be committed to that to change and get there. And it doesn't necessarily sound like that's what's happening. And I, like Nick said, like 3 small children, completely get that, but it's something to consider.
it's just the hard part with the kids. But I know if they weren't here, I wouldn't be here still.
I think also like thinking about how they, especially your oldest, I mean, watching you put up with it and watching the way he gets when he's drunk, is that showing them that that's something they should put up with in the future? Is that teaching them like, you know, or do you want to show them like, no, we don't, you know, don't stand for this. We respect ourselves, and like this is what happens when people don't treat us the way we deserve to be treated.
Those are all amazing points too, and I think it's interesting that you can say to us that if the kids weren't in the picture, you would be gone.
Yes.
Is that really true though? Because
very, very true. Very true. It was really hard for me. We've been married for 13 years. So it was really hard for me in the beginning with all of this. But ever since we started having kids 5 years or 6 years ago, it's just different. He's not present. He's not there. He gives no love. I tell him, listen, I need some love. Just show me that you one time a day that you like me. And he can't do that. And I beg him for it and just doesn't do it.
Well, I'm so sorry again. But I think Dayna and Natalie make some excellent points. And if it truly is the kids that are only keeping you together, then I think you have some other very valid points to consider in terms of why, for the kids, maybe this relationship isn't serving anyone any good. He is their father, and he can still choose to be their father regardless of what you decide for that relationship. But that's his choice and his responsibility, and it's not yours.
Yeah.
And my gut probably tells me you've been probably doing 100% of your half and like probably 80% of his, and maybe you're like used to that. And even when it comes to worrying about what his job is as a father in this, relationship, you're probably have taken up that responsibility, which it's not your responsibility. And I think you got to try to be careful, not to almost be like a martyr.
Yeah.
Because there are no points for being a martyr in this relationship and kind of taking one for the team, so to speak. Clearly that hasn't gotten you anywhere with him.
No, I'm telling you, it's been years, and it's a conversation we have multiple times a month. Like, you have got to stop. It's embarrassing. Like falling over, it's just embarrassing.
So, but back to, if the kids weren't involved, you would be gone. Why?
Yes.
Convince me or us, if you're willing, as to why, because there are kids, there's a reason for you to stay.
Well, his parents have been married forever. My parents have been married forever. I'm not a child of divorce, so I don't know how that affects the children. I've done some research and it just seems negative. But then again, I don't know how good it is for the kids to see me upset every day and just trying to hold it together.
As a child of divorce, it's worse.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's because you can have a great relationship with your father and a great relationship with your mother, and you don't feel like you're choosing sides, or being in the house and like seeing them fight. You don't feel like, like when they're separated, you can go see daddy and it can be like an amazing experience. But when you're home and you're watching the relationship just be loveless and nasty, it affects the way that you view relationships in your future. I looked at relationships so differently as a kid because I saw what my parents, put up with and went through.
In the same situation I was talking about, I know that a therapist told my friend this, divorce does not traumatize children. It's the way in which you divorce.
Mm-hmm.
So there are many resources out there to help you have a successful divorce. And, as long as you're keeping your side of the street clean, you can't speak for your husband. And it sounds like he's not making great choices, but I understand those fears. But I'm guessing if what you said earlier about you are scared to leave your children with him sometimes because he's rough and they're seeing him like this all the time, that is likely not going to be less traumatizing for them than a divorce.
It is the scariest thing to even like process and comprehend, because just like you don't want to believe it and you don't want to accept it. But I think like suffering, even just for like your children's sake, thinking like, okay, well, I don't want to get divorced because that's not something you grew up in, and I think it's a lot of like taboo. People just don't think you should fight for it. You should work at it. You should just, you should do anything but get divorced. But I think you will be so much happier, and your kids will see that in you, and you'll become like so much stronger and that bravery will really resonate with them more than seeing you suffer and be broken every day.
Also, I think you can say that you've confidently tried.
Yes. Having those
You know?
conversations every
Yeah.
single month and it
Yes.
falling on deaf ears, he's not listening. And I think he probably just thinks you'll never leave anyway. So he doesn't need to change. Those behavior modifications are never going to come because he hasn't had to change them.
Well, it probably makes a difference too that I've told him numerous times, I'm not going to leave you because I love my kids too much and I can't do this to our kids.
Yeah. No, well, he's
So
definitely taken that into consideration for sure.
Yeah.
Like last night, he was drunk out of his mind, swaying and everything, got the kids to bed, comes over to me and says, hey, can we talk now? And which is a huge, like, he's never done that in our entire relationship for 13 years. And I said, actually, no, because you need to talk to me when you're sober. You're not going to remember
Yeah.
any of this,
Yeah.
or you might remember bits and pieces. And then this morning, we're in the kitchen together for an hour. He doesn't say one word to me. And when he goes to leave, I said, so you wanted to talk to me, right? And now that you're sober, you can't do it. And you just left. So
Yeah.
What would it
Beating
take?
a
Like,
dead
what
horse.
would your bottom line be? What would need to happen for you to take those steps?
oh God, I don't even want to say that out loud because it sounds horrible.
Well,
Like,
I think
and I don't-
that's the part you have to get over.
Well, it sounds horrible. It's like if something would happen to my children or something. I live
knew
for
you'd
my
say
children. If anything would happen to them, but then it's like I don't want to say that because thinking that something could possibly happen.
But also,
it
like,
makes me a bad
letting
mom
it,
thinking about that, letting it happen.
get to that point.
So how do we get you to that point without something bad happening first?
I just have to make the decision and stay strong and do something about it. But I'm just petrified.
What scares
he's a
you the
great
most?
dad.
Well, that's awesome.
Just
That's great. And he can
yeah,
still be a
he's-
great dad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And and if you decide to leave the relationship, you can do or you cannot do what a lot of people do in your shoes is like, you can still protect the fact that he is their father. So you don't need to talk shit about him to the
No.
kids and things like that. You can still like cherish that bond that he has with his kids. And as you should, because like it's so like disheartening when you see parents go through divorce and they selfishly like go to war with each other and they like take it out on their children and let their insecurities like make, and then it becomes like a battle, like which kids like who parents the most. Like,
Mhm.
don't do that. And so you
Yeah,
can
no.
deal with the bullshit that you guys have to deal with, and you can still protect that relationship he has with his kids, because like Natalie said, like nothing is stopping you two from still being two amazing parents to their children, regardless of you two are together. And you can still shower them with love, and you can still co-parent, and you can make the kids the priority. You just no longer have to be a prisoner of this loveless marriage and his lack of desire to connect or communicate with you, unless he's drunk out of his mind.
What else scares
And then
you?
I'm also 40, so it's like, is there any hope for me anymore besides the Golden Bachelor?
Oh my God. 40 is the new 30.
yes.
Ladies, this is where you jump in.
Oh my, I
yes.
can't wait for you to listen to Disrespectful.
Your new favorite podcast is going to be called Disrespectfully. It comes out next week, and it's hosted by Katie Maloney
Ooh.
and
Dayna.
Dayna.
Kathan.
Kathan. God,
Dathan.
those are my head.
Devastating.
Dayna
Um,
Dathan.
yeah.
Dathan.
I don't know why I said
Dana
Kathan.
Kava. Yeah, you're gonna have to download that and listen to it immediately. But yeah, Katie, your thoughts on that?
I think that should be the last thing to like worry about because of course you have all the so much time left. Yeah, 40 is the new 20. Oh, and also like who wants to be 20 anyway?
Ugh.
But I think that should not be
True.
like those things that we tell ourselves, those irrational fears should never hold us back because I don't know. I've truly never been happier, even if I'm still single, because it's just the relationship I have with myself and the kind of confidence I've given myself just to love myself enough to get out of something that wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't making me happy and there was no future there.
Babe, also, have you met a 20-something-year-old? Ugh. Like Katie said, who wants that?
Except
But
Natalie.
But yeah, I
No
mean, yeah,
offense.
you don't count.
Well, sometimes we do. Sometimes, the 27-year-olds can be fun.
But don't you
that'll
like-
lead into another story. Well, sorry, real quick. Don't block your blessings.
Yes.
So these are all fear-based thoughts. So I know that it's easy to look at what you're losing right now because that's what's been your life for the last 13 years. But think of what you're gaining. Guarantee you will meet someone. And just like there's a lid for every pot. And your current situation doesn't sound like it's best for you or your children. So you are a spring chicken. You look great. I don't know if you get Botox, but you look like you do. So you're amazing hair. I'm not worried about you at all.
I think, but it's hard because you think like you had your whole life planned, you had the family, you had everything, and then everything's turned on its head, and you're like, the thought of starting over is mortifying. But I am so excited for what's unknown and like what could happen, in my future, and just thinking that, it's anything is possible. It's more exciting to me than it is scary.
You also already have your kids, right?
Yes.
So you're not looking to like start a I mean, unless you would like to do more of that, but like so you're literally just looking for love, and that's the bare minimum, and that's like,
and you can take your time.
Yeah, that's
because
so much more low pressure.
That's a great point. You have your kids, and I say that as someone who's about to have his first kid at this stage in my life, and like before I got here, it was like, fuck, man, like I had to consider like so much of my relationship-based decisions on like the fact that I still wanted to be a father. And thankfully, luckily, I met Natalie. But like that pressure of, or lack thereof, that you have your 3 children and that you don't have to worry about your biological clock at all anymore, which is obviously something women have to worry about that men don't. You have the freedom to be like, fuck it, I can do whatever the fuck I want. Like you can get divorced and be like, I'm going to be a fuck boy for the next 2 years. I'm going to fuck around. I'm going to have late nights. I'm going to date, I'm going to date 25-year-old men and just have a ball because like, you know what? And honestly, you don't have to, even if you aren't a mother out there, as our wonderful co-host of Disrespectfully will tell you, like, you don't have to worry about that, but you have the added bonus of being like, of not having that, as so many often people do, well, if I want kids, I have to date more intentionally and blah, blah, and put that unnecessary pressure on yourself, that no one should do, but especially someone in your shoes, you won't have to worry about that.
But then you put it the other way. If like, who the heck's going to want 3 little kids?
I've never found that to be true.
Yeah.
Also, first of all, if they don't, goodbye. Love. Lead yourself out for me. Do the work. You took the trash out. Great. But second of all, the person that would be right for you will not care, or I'm guessing could also have their own kids. You could end up with a blended family. Like you just have to really stop letting this like shadow version of you lie to you. These are lies that you're telling yourself. This isn't a thing. We can't play out what has not happened. If the streets call, bring, answer the phone. You know what I mean? Like you said, you have your kids. Get out there.
You're also like, you're 40. You're not 23. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're not trying to be, I'm guessing you're not going to be dating a bunch, maybe a few, you might like mix it up, but you're not going to be dating a bunch of like 27, 28-year-old men who are figuring their shit out and aren't sure if they can handle like a mom of 3. Like, I don't think you're going to be dating those guys. And you can if you want. If you want to get a little nuts,
they're fun.
Like,
but you're not going to be dating like those aren't the ones you're trying to like wife up.
No, and
like,
also you'll be surprised the 20-somethings are all the ones that want to wife you up, and you're like, please go back to preschool.
Where's your parents?
Where did your mom sign your permission slip for you to be here?
But I think Dayna makes an excellent point. What you're doing right now isn't serving you at all, right? You're just, and I understand why you're doing it. Why you have a lot, like it makes sense why there'd be a lot of things to be afraid of, even though you really don't have to be afraid of them. I mean, what you have is this opportunity. You have this chance to like be incredibly free, to like be only 40 years old, have 3 wonderful children that like, those are your babies. They're going to be the center of your life for the foreseeable future. And dating for you is just like an added benefit. And you're going to have your success stories, and you're going to have those shitty dates that you're going to laugh about with their friends, and you'll have some great lays and you'll have some bad lays. And maybe 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't know how many years down the line, you will meet a guy who you'll actually want to spend the rest of your life with, because it's about the two of you and the connection you have. And it's not about anything else. It's not about like, was this someone I want to have kids with, and et cetera. You will have no other pressure other than, is this the person I want to waste my time with? And so like, you really, to Dayna's point, you have like so many things to be excited and optimistic about. It really comes down to your perspective and how you see your situation.
I also think it's okay for you to be scared just because your life is going to change.
Totally.
But your kids will still have their father. He will still be a great dad to your kids. But your marriage, what you feel right now, you're not going to feel any different when he's not around. It's not like you're losing the person who, hugs you when they come home. You're not losing the person who, goes out of their way to make sure you feel special, who holds your hand in the car, who, you're not losing that because you don't have it. Yeah. So I think you should obviously acknowledge that it is scary to start over. That's the inevitable. But I think putting your kids aside because they're going to be totally fine. It's better than having them grow up and watch their parents be disconnected and not see love than having love separately in different homes.
The other part that's really hard is one of the reasons I fell in love with him is I thought he would never, ever lie to me. And he has just been lying for years to me. I think it was...
He's an addict, you know?
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah, the day before, but he's starting to try to make me feel crazy for it. So the day before Christmas Eve, I was wrapping presents for the kids and I put them underneath his bed. There was nothing underneath there. And then later we don't sleep in the same room just because we are bad sleepers. But so later on I went into his room to see what he was doing. And I saw a bottle of wine, it was 12, a whole bottle of wine just gone in less than an hour. And I was like, "Are you drinking already?" And he goes, "Oh no, that's from the other week. I just have it there." And I'm like, you can't make me feel crazy. I was just in your room underneath your bed.
Well, we can certainly try.
That's the definition of gaslighting. That's what gaslighting is.
Yeah, making you question
it tries to make me feel crazy for the things that he's doing. "Oh no, I didn't drink. No." And then I find bottles here and there.
I don't think you fully appreciate how much weight will be lifted off your shoulders once you power through that decision to leave him.
Consider that you don't know how good it can be.
Yeah. When was the last time that you put yourself first?
I don't ever put myself first.
Maybe it's time.
Ever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I never, ever do. And he knows that.
We can text him right now and ask for a divorce.
I can't do that.
I know you're not going to.
Do you know what I had to do though? Because there's never a good time. I gave myself a deadline. I said by Saturday, I will.
How did you do it? How did you approach it?
I told him I wanted to talk to him. I was like, "I want to talk to you today." He was leaving to go to do something. I was like, "When you get back, I want to talk."
And then you just said it.
It was weird. It felt foreign coming out of my mouth. It was not again, but you just just something you just have to do because otherwise there's no one's going to do it for you.
What
but that you
first response.
It was sad. It was the saddest day. But it's not because there was obviously a conversation that happened prior to that. But ultimately, I had made my decision. And
if one of your children had a partner like this in the future, would you be okay with that?
No, to an extent, because like I said, he's a great father, hardworking, but there's no love. There's just being drunk. And,
So how are you going to find the courage to give yourself that deadline that Katie was able to do?
Do I give him a deadline? Even though
what is that?
What is that? I'm not
8 years
for the past 5 years.
Yeah, but what is that? What does that deadline look like?
That deadline
a miracle
looks like it's going to fail.
Yeah. I mean, that is you delaying the inevitable. So, before I let you go, that's what I just want to make sure because, I get it. You're not going to text him right now and ask for a divorce. I get it. But you are getting off the phone with us and we're going to go about our lives and you'll be left back to where you started is before I called with this huge fear of following through what is to us the obvious choice. And we understand it's not an easy choice and we understand a lot goes into it, but there's been no counterpoint to you leaving him. And there are some things that you haven't even considered, like the whole liability fact that, he could get in a car tomorrow. He could kill someone.
Or just damage someone's property.
And all of a sudden you are liable and your children for whatever damage and destruction he does.
And as far as you saying that he's a great dad, part of what can happen in litigation is you can specify, if you're taking it to the court saying this is the reason we're getting divorced, you can say he is not allowed to drink while he has the children. So that's an even further protection for them, because right now when he's with them, he's drinking, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So how about step one, before you ask for a divorce? What if you got off the phone with us and start researching divorce lawyers?
Do that. That is something that I'm thinking about. I don't know how any of it works. I think he'd be extremely civil. He's very understanding, and it's crazy. It's like he says he loves me and wants to be married to me, and loves our family, but won't change. And he's like, well, if that's what you want us to be separated or whatever, I will be very compliant. And
listen, I mean, I feel for him because he has a sickness. He has a disease. He's suffering from addiction. And that is tragic. And I have a ton of empathy for him. But it's also not your fault or your problem. And it's not your responsibility to take on all of this shit that he is dumping onto you and his kids and putting you guys at risk, literal risk, you know? And so, you can have empathy for him and you can feel bad for him. And he at any moment can try to put a more considered effort into getting his shit together and changing his life, you know? But that's on him, you know, and maybe you finally having the guts to ask for a divorce, who knows? I mean, if you want to hope for something, let that be the wake up call that maybe he'll actually do something instead of you saying, I'm never going to leave you. I'm never going to leave you. But you can't sit there and wait on hope. And I wouldn't expect much to change. But I think it just starts with a phone call, you know?
Yeah. I'm just so scared because I'm such a planner. And it's like, okay, what do I do then if I do this and he leaves and then I'm with all three of the kids and I'm used to his help, my child care, work.
I mean, but you can't even count on him to watch the kid. I mean, right? I mean, if he's drinking, like how is he able to help you? Yeah. And I think he's good for a little bit and then it's over. I think you could also start slow and like just start with a separation, you know, like ask him to get out of the house and maybe just separate for a while and then, you know, just take it day by day. I don't think you necessarily need to like jump into, you know, the scariest of
Do you have any friends or family that would be willing to help you out for a period of time?
I have my mom and dad, but they are like 85 and it's more me taking care of them. I take care of them as well. So like my mom has dementia and my dad's just getting up there. So,
but your husband works, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, you'll figure it out, you know, truly. And I don't mean to sound like dismissive or crass, but like you're going to figure it out. And I know it seems and sounds impossible right now because you never imagined this for yourself, but like you seem more than capable. Again, you have your children, you love your children, and for the sake of them, you're going to figure it out. I promise you. And it's not that it won't be difficult at times and you won't feel overwhelmed. But again, like hearing what you're going through right now, I honestly can't imagine it's going to be any more difficult than what you're currently experiencing. So even if it's just as hard, if not a little harder in the short run, I think you're going to figure it out. You're going to step up. And I think, you know, people around you will rally together and you're not going to be on your own. Like if nothing else, be thankful that your husband will, sounds like, still be a good father to them and provide for his children when he's not dealing with his disease. But I think right now you got to get over this mental hurdle of thinking about all the reasons why you shouldn't move forward with this decision. And I think you got to start changing the narrative and start telling yourself, I can do this. I'm capable of doing this. I have the strength to do this. And you have to change that narrative. You got to gas yourself up and you got to start making phone calls. And step one is to reach out to a couple divorce lawyers, take some meetings, get some info, educate yourself. Right now, you don't have, you're just guessing. You don't know, and you're refusing to find out of fear. And that is only like, it's like a, what's the word, like self-fulfilling prophecy type of thing, where it's like you don't want to get any information because you don't want to learn, but you don't want to do anything because you don't know how to do it. So start being actionable, pick up the phone. Like you don't have to get divorced by calling a divorce lawyer. You don't. Like just educate yourself and get your ducks in a row And at the right time, if it gets to that point, you set a timeline for yourself. Once you know, like, you're a planner. So plan your divorce before you ask for the divorce. Truly, that's a smart thing to do. Yeah. But you start doing it now. And if you decide not to get divorced, you can still decide not to get divorced. But you're right now, all you're doing is nothing, except for worrying about your problem. And you got to start taking charge. And I really think it's going to be a lot brighter than you realize. And as scary as it sounds now, like, if you've heard me talk about, things in the past, most things aren't as scary as they sound. And then you do it and you're like, holy shit, like, would have should have done that a lot earlier. And call us up and let us know that we were wrong if we were wrong. But I will be shocked if you decide to move forward with this 6 months from now and not be wishing you had done it much sooner.
Yeah. No, I already do feel that. It's like something hit me when I turned 40. I was like, I just want to be happy. I'm tired of being tired, and I'm tired of trying to make someone better and change someone.
Yeah. You're having to beg someone to love you.
Beg. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And when you do ask for divorce, you'll have these two ladies and their show Disrespectfully. You'll have two girlfriends at the same stage of the life that you're at, out there dating, and you won't be alone. There'll be literally hundreds of thousands of women just like you out there who are just killing it in the dating scene, having fun, meeting men, telling stories, having a ball. Sure, you'll have your struggles, but like, again, I think this really comes down to you changing your perspective in your head and start telling yourself you can rather than you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Good points, Nick. Good points.
All right.
I'm sorry you're going through this, though.
Yeah.
That's okay. Well, thank you.
Well, it's not okay.
Also, how Nick was just saying, you'll figure everything out. It's true. There's a great book called Everything is Figure Outable, and I can't remember who the author is, but it's amazing. So highly recommend giving it a read.
Okay. Thank you.
You really will. You'll figure it out. We love a good follow-up on this show, as you know. So I'm going to give you some homework. So what is a timeline that you are willing to work with? And your next step, just to get the ball rolling, is to make a phone call to at least one lawyer.
Yeah.
So
that's going to be my next step. And I'm thinking, like, I hate to even say a month, but I feel like I just need to have like that one last conversation. Like, if this happens, and if he's going to make it maybe to the month or something, and then it's just going to start all over again.
Are you guys in is he in therapy? Are you in therapy?
I begged him to do therapy, and he did it for like 2 sessions or something like that. Didn't do anything for him. We've done couples therapy. He didn't do any of the assignments. I had to beg him to do the assignments, which he never did anyway. He would just come with empty paperwork. It's just nothing is working.
You've tried.
I've tried. I've tried every approach you can try.
Well,
with dealing with an addict.
So now you can pat yourself on the back knowing that you tried. It's not your fault. You can have no regrets. That must be something you experienced, Katie, knowing that, like, fuck it. Yeah, maybe you tried longer than you should have, but at least you fucking tried.
Yeah, no, I look back and say, like, there's nothing else I could have done. I did everything I can, and I don't regret. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. Because I feel the same way. There's like nowhere to go now.
All right. So I think a month's a long time. I think we follow up in like 3 weeks.
Okay.
I can listen. I love you and thank you for calling in, but I get the sense that you will delay this shit forever until someone.
Well, once you start talking to people and they kind of are holding you accountable, and you got to give a deadline, your mind starts shifting a little bit.
So we're going to follow up with you, and we would love an update on what it was like for you to reach out to a divorce lawyer. And know this, that right now there are literally hundreds of thousands of people listening to you. And there are many women out there who are relating to you right now in this moment, and they're looking for strength. And they're going to find strength through you because you're going to give us an update and you're going to tell us how scary it was and yada, 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 but you're going to do it. And then so many other women listening who couldn't find the courage and they're in a very similar situation to you are finally going to get that courage because you're going to show them how it's done.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I really want to. I'm going to, starting tomorrow, I'll look up some lawyers and figure out my next steps.
We're rooting for you.
It's going to be okay.
Thank you. It's like the scariest thing ever.
Totally.
It is, but I
Yeah.
do want you to try. I want you to start changing that narrative in your head. And it's those little things. It's those little comments we say to ourselves. It's going to be so scary. We know it is. And yes, I'm not trying to dismiss it, but what you have to start doing is start saying things like, I can do this. I deserve better.
Mhm.
There is better than this. Those are the things I want you to say to yourself, to your friends. It's that's how you change your narrative, is to change those thoughts, and you can control your thoughts. So you have to really police yourself. And when you catch yourself saying, this is too scary, I don't know how I'm going to do this, pause, take a moment and say, no, that's not true. I can figure this out. You've figured out things before. If you can raise 3 children, you can figure out how to get a divorce.
You want to be happy, so let happiness be your goal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, we'll be following up.
Thanks, everyone.
We're sorry you're
Nice
going
to
through
meet you.
this.
So
this
sorry.
sucks.
Oh,
Truly.
Thank you.
But hey,
Well.
it's a new year, and this
Yep.
time next year, you could be on a
Yeah.
fucking beach with a fucking hottie, just getting fucking like oil rubbed up on you. The kids are being
Yeah.
taken care of,
Yeah.
and you're living your
I
best
don't
life.
even know what that's like anymore.
Well, it's about the time that you find out.
You will soon.
Circle back with
That's
us.
funny.
Give us an update. We're here for you.
I will. Thanks, guys. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
All right, take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye.
Talk soon.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Allie said that the author of that book, Marie Ferrarello, we've had on the show.
Yeah,
No, I was gonna say it was. I thought it was Marie, but I couldn't
Yeah.
remember her last name.
We
Yeah,
we interviewed her.
She's amazing.
Wow.
Love her.
That is your target audience.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Period.
Heavy. But it's like
Period.
I've been there. I know exactly what she's feeling. Well,
Yeah.
minus the kids and stuff, but yeah.
It is. It sucks what she's going through, but
Mhm.
I'm glad she has you two ladies to.
She doesn't know how fun and good it can be.
100%. And also, unfortunately for her, the likelihood that this is going to change or get better is just, it's not on her side. So I really
No.
hope that she makes this choice.
Well, it's tough because I do. People in her position. If you've been in a long-term relationship for a number of years, like you were in, you forget what it can be like, and the unknown is so scary sometimes. And
but-
so,
But this when the shift of it being scary to being really exciting happens, that's cool.
I've never been married, but I know how it feels to be unhappy and feel lonely when
Yeah.
you're with someone. I can tell you, as someone who's been single for a long time, there is nothing worse than being with someone and feeling lonely. Then being alone
So
is so
true.
much better.
So true.
Yeah, 100%.
I cannot wait for all these people to listen to Disrespectfully and
I
have a
can't-
friend in their
no.
dating escapades.
Oh well, they're gonna get earfuls of it.
Oh my goodness.
So they're like shake their
Uh,
head and be like, "Oh, what are these?" But it's gonna be peaks and valleys of triumphs and tribulations and
Do
I mean,
you
the whole
ladies want to leave us with a story?
I don't know. I think I see a hickey on Dayna's neck.
well, first of all, Hickeys are coming back in 2024.
Are
Don't
they?
you know? They should be. Wow.
Is your first
we
episode about hickeys?
enjoyed it as the hickey was happening.
Yeah, but then I didn't
Okay.
know that it was happening, and
Let
my
me see this hickey.
Where is it?
is it on this side.
Let's see. Oh,
Oh,
it's
yep.
a little
Well, I
guy.
have makeup on right now too.
Okay.
It looks like
the-
a little like maybe your cat scratched.
the-
you.
How did it feel
Okay.
to cover it with makeup?
So, I mean, I obviously didn't do a good enough job, but it was like, is this 2004? I'm so confused.
No.
My best childhood friend, so she's known me since the hickey stage when we were like 12 or 13, was in town with her partner and their baby. And we were walking and I hadn't like looked in the mirror. We were walking to my apartment and she was like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, what? And she was like, do you have a hickey? And I was like, I wasn't going to tell you the whole story, but now obviously the only person that would give a hickey is someone under the age of 25. So
That's not
what
true.
She'll be dealing with.
I think
on-
listen. I think Hickeys are
How
fun.
old is he?
How old? Yeah.
he'll be 25 next month.
Oh, love it.
And I'm okay. So her and I are different about this. I normally will not even speak to someone below the age of 31, like literally. And I actually shut him down. I found out how old he was and I've been chatting with him because he's like tall and cute. So I'm like talking with him. And then I asked his friend how old he was. And I was like, oh, no, bye. And then we kind of like lost track of each other. And I was leaving because I am an old woman and wanted to go to bed and it was all children left. And so I was like, he was like, wait, can I get your number? And I was like, no, I'm 33 years old. You cannot have my number. You're 24. You're super cute. This is not going to happen. And I like went to go past him. I was like, have a great Christmas, bye. And he grabbed my arm and he's like, okay, how about your Instagram? And I was like, fine. And now I have Hickeys. So don't give out your Instagram, folks.
Well,
Why not?
first of all,
Why?
embrace the
Why?
Hickey.
Yeah,
I was
thank you,
collecting
Katie.
Hickeys like Pokemon last year. Like it was great.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, like, yeah, sometimes some of them were like mean. There was no covering them up. One time I had to go with a Hickey to like CVS pharmacy to pick up a UTI prescription. I was like,
That's a moment.
how old am I?
No.
I was like, wow, that's ultimate
iconic.
walk of shame.
That's such
But not
iconic
even.
behavior.
It was like,
Let's just get rid of the phrase. Like, let's normalize no walk of shame.
there's no walk of shame. I was just doing, I was just running errands.
walking.
I was just running, girly errands.
No, but seriously,
We're girls. We're going to get UTIs.
We're girls. We're going to have Hickeys. We're girls. We're going to
Well,
need UTI. I was a frequent flyer of the UTI shit. Though.
Oh,
And-
don't get me
you know,
started.
For a
honestly,
variety of reasons.
I'm just glad you guys are having fun.
I think it's so much fun. I think Hickeys in 2024.
Okay.
You're right. I should reclaim it. And
Should we
also,
start
that's
sucking each
what.
other's necks?
Probably.
I think we should be giving and receiving Hickeys.
Okay.
Okay.
Why
And
not?
I'm adding that to my list.
There is a big
Goals.
part, and I think I have benefited from the, as a society gives us all these reasons why we should judge each other, of why you should be doing X, Y, or Z at a certain stage of your life, or you shouldn't be doing this anymore, or you should be doing that, and blah, 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 blah. And I can say, for one, like, I just got a lot happier with my life when I stopped giving a fuck about any of that and just like started making choices for myself. That's not to say like I could be like, I still held myself accountable and like, what do I need to do to meet my goals and meet my dreams? But like, they were based off what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I think it seems like women have to deal with even more judgments and more stereotypes, especially the ones who, didn't find the love of their lives in their 20s, and they're out there and still dealing with the bullshit of their dating life. And like our dear caller who will be willing to put up with so much bullshit in a relationship for the fear of unknown, or the fear of, what society is going to think of them or judge them. And you two ladies are an example of why that shouldn't be the case.
I think also a foundation of disrespectfully is it's a judgment-free zone. Like we've always been that way. And the thing is, we live our lives however we want to live it. I think that there are people out there that do judge us, kind of like what we were speaking about earlier. But like, if you want to have kids and be married and only have sex with the lights off in missionary position, I don't judge you. I think that's amazing. Like, do whatever feels good.
We'll do that as well.
Honestly, love.
Literally,
Here
whatever
for it.
anyone wants to do. Like, it's so funny to me when people make it such their business to be worried about what other people are doing if you're not hurting anyone and you're just in the streets getting Hickeys and having a great
Yeah,
time.
wear
So-
your slutty behavior like a badge of honor.
Okay.
Well, that's a great place to end it. Anyways, disrespectfully coming to your podcast every Wednesday.
Yay!
Wherever you listen to podcasts, you will also be able to stream it or watch it on YouTube, just like the Viall Files. So, Katie,
Word.
Dayna, congratulations to
Thanks.
you both.
Thank you. We're so
Thank
excited.
you.
How do you
So-
say my last name?
Kathan,
Woo!
He's got it. See? Only took one episode.
one episode. I always get like psyched out. Like
He
every
thinks
time
too much about it.
I do, like I get like psyched out with last names. I think it's because I'm so self-conscious about mine, and people fuck mine up. I get in my head.
I
So
call
if you
people
know-
the wrong name all the time.
If you notice, anytime Nick is like introducing someone on the show, he's like, Katie Maloney. It's 'cause he's like thinking
I'm
about
thinking, I'm like, oh fuck, what do I do?
So he always drags out the first name
I'm like,
really long.
Am I on the Price is Right? or what?
Literally, yes. Yes.
But I couldn't be more excited to be working with you two ladies. I can't wait
Likewise.
for
We're so
all of our
excited.
success that we're going to have as
Hell
a team,
yeah.
and you two being the flagship of this network.
That's what's up.
It's iconic.
I'm excited to have you guys on my team.
We're so excited.
We're so excited.
Yeah.
Well,
Can't wait.
everyone, be sure to tune in next Wednesday. You guys have a lot to listen to next week. I can't say exactly what. You'll know tomorrow, hopefully. But it's a big week here at the Viall Files for these ladies and for us. And you guys are in for a world of entertainment.
Oh, world.
Yeah, they are.
Hold on to your butts.
I don't love that saying.
Hold on to
It's
your
from a movie.
It's from Jurassic Park.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Hold on to your
butts.
Anything else before I have to go? Don't forget to send your questions at asknick@viallfiles.com for all things Ask Nick, texting office hours, you know the drill. Well, maybe it's probably a good time to mention Viall Files Plus because we are recapping old episodes of Vanderpump for all you Vanderpump fans out there. I know you're listening because of these two ladies. So if you are dying to go back to recap with us old episodes, we are in the midst. We just started season 3. We're like on episode 2 or 3. I forget where we are. We had a Christmas break as well. So we have recapped 1 and 2. So be sure to check that out with us. All our update specials are available as well behind Viall Files Plus. It's free to sign up. Just go to viallfiles.com. Any final thoughts, ladies?
No.
No, I just so excited.
Yeah.
Cannot wait. This is the perfect place for us, and can't wait to bring everyone along.
Yeah.
For shenanigans.
We were a part of one of Katie's shenanigans in Vegas the first time we met her, and she set the tone. It was iconic. So I hope she shares it.
Sign this one up. You
Yeah,
remember that?
that'll fit in somewhere.
As it should.
Shoo.
That's what she said.
Okay.
That was my first meeting Katie.
Yeah.
Great impression.
Well, you're here. Clearly you did.
True.
Yeah. I'm like, this is the person I want to work with. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.